The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
This week, Disney is celebrating their 100th anniversary. 100. You can tell Disney is old because Pinocchio now has to take a pill to make his nose grow. The full cast was just announced for a new Law & Order series called Law & Order Toronto: Criminal Intent. Ooh. Yeah, every episode ends the same way. The judge says, how do you plead? Sorry or not sorry? Yeah, it's set in Canada, so it's more of a good cop type of show.
According to a new survey, baby boomers said their top source for new slang is younger family members. Said your grandma, I crashed my whip into the post office again.
Well, people are talking about this. There's a new pepper that was just named the hottest in the world, and it's called Pepper X. I don't care what anyone says. I'm still going to call it Pepper Twitter.
It's showtime.
Oh, there you go. Welcome, folks, to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Yeah, she's Wednesday, 5:41. Welcome to the historic 93X Half-Ass Morning Show, I should say. We were told yesterday through an email by corporate headquarters that it's official. Our show is the greatest morning show of all time. Right?
I'm feeling you read between the lines somewhere.
It was something close to that.
Basically.
I saw some kind of an electronic mail, so that's it. It's over.
Don't touch other people's lunches in the lunchroom, and you've really read into this.
I saw something more in there than lunchroom conversation. It was something about our program being the greatest that there's ever been. So
no, it was lunchroom etiquette. I read it.
Everyone else sucks. We're the best ever. Corporate radio rules. We win again. One of the greatest moments. One of the only happy, really, truly joyous moments I ever had in this business before you came along, John, was that moment in time. The corporate radio rules line. Now I got to tell the story. I'm sorry do I have to tell the story? I should tell the story.
I think
you can't leave people hanging.
You're right. I got myself
for anybody that hasn't heard it yet.
I got headed in a certain direction. I do that. I make that mistake, and then I owe you an explanation. It was many, many years ago. What were we called at the time? The Edge?
Yeah.
And I hated it. I hated everything about it. And there was another station in town that our corporation had bought up. Can you explain it better than I can, Josh? I'm sure you can.
Yeah, it was a beloved radio station called Rev 105.
Right.
And, I mean, it really, it wasn't necessarily a ratings juggernaut, right? But it had a very, very passionate fan base, and really for good reason. There's a lot of talented DJs that we were lucky enough to work with when the evil empire, ABC Radio, that we worked for, took over.
And you know what? You're right. I forget about that. Some of those Rev people, because, hell, they got to eat too. They came over this way and worked with us, and we really had a lot of fun with those folks.
Oh, we did. Some of the more talented, bright individuals we've ever met. And one of my favorite guys of all time came over from Rev.
And, you and I were young and relatively new to the business. We weren't wrapped up in who was who and what was corporate and what was underground. I didn't know one thing from the other. I still don't follow that kind of thing at all. So it wasn't like we were taking sides at all in this matter. Hell, I was just happy to have a job.
Yeah, me too. Right. We didn't understand the significance of it. And I just thought, well, that's how it goes, right? These big companies buy some smaller companies and expand their radio, how many radio stations they have for greed, right? Greedy purposes.
You've explained it perfectly.
And so, right, it was such a backlash, which I hadn't really expected. I didn't know enough about it.
I didn't know what was coming. I didn't understand what was happening at all, and I really didn't care.
We essentially were in hiding, and they said, don't wear any Edge gear. We're not going to park our van out front of every concert like they used to back in the day with the Edge logo on it.
Right.
Some local, I shouldn't say local, but some kind of indie bands, I guess you'd call them, some popular indie bands would chant F the edge on stage. It was a big deal.
Yeah, we like you said, we didn't want to. The employees, the DJs at the Edge, God, I hate saying that out loud. We didn't want to be seen in public for fear of an angry mob would kick our ass. They'd destroy our radio station vehicle.
They did. Our van got peed on a couple times. I was in it once where people were like throwing rocks at it, and I thought we were dead.
So in the middle of all this hubbub, me and a dude I was working with back in those days, he and I were asked to drive the station vehicle through the Holidazzle parade, I think it was. What do you call it? The Christmas parade in downtown Minneapolis. And, okay, I don't care. And my buddy said, or my coworker said, sure. We were never buddies. I want to make that clear. We got pulled into the boss's office before we left for this event. Just driving the vehicle down the Holidazzle parade, and we'd wave to people.
Yeah, that's nice.
Your typical parade gimmick. We got pulled into the boss's office, and the boss said, look, things are still kind of bubbling over here in town. There's still an angry mob who hates our guts for buying up their beloved radio station. We're a bunch of corporate pigs and this and that. So do the parade and get the hell out of there. And if during the parade any of the angry mob is giving you the finger or they throw anything at the radio station vehicle, just ignore it. Just ignore it. We don't want to be portrayed as any bigger villains than we already are. We said, okay, cool, man, we'll see you later. And sure as hell, as we're putting along the parade route, there are people on the sidewalks. F you! The Edge sucks, you bastards! You took away our radio. Middle fingers. And, I mean, me and my coworker at the time, we for the first 2-3 minutes, we're just keeping a straight face. Then we can't help but laugh our balls off after a while. All kinds of young kids with mohawks running up to the van and saying, yo, bastards, we hate your guts, right? And then at the end, we couldn't help it. At least my coworker couldn't help it. At the end, we passed one more group of people who said, blow me or whatever. They're upset. My coworker went completely against the boss's advice, and he rolls down the window, and he sticks his head out the window, and he yells, corporate radio rules! We win!
We experienced that a little bit ourselves when the Edge, or I should say ABC Radio, bought the old 93X, right, and turned it into the Edge. I mean, I remember that heartbreak. I didn't have, some of the vitriol these people had, and I wasn't throwing rocks at Edge vehicles, but I was really bummed out when the old 93X went away. I loved that radio station.
I hear you, Brett. So there you go. We've been voted the greatest of all time. Janel Klein will be joining us later this morning. She texted last night. She's doing a story for television on how we've been voted the greatest morning show of all time.
No, you're again.
So we're going to revisit this topic again later.
You have to. You weren't wearing your cheaters when you read that email. You've really read between the lines.
I swore to God that.
No, it was don't touch people's lunches in the lunchroom.
How in the hell did I make that mistake?
I don't know. I'm actually worried about you. Has this been the longest week of all time?
It sure seems that way, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Just yesterday, I was telling my wife, I'm like, all right, I got to get this done, and this done. I'm not going to have time because tomorrow I got to drive to Wisconsin. And she's like, it's Tuesday. You're not driving till Thursday.
Yep. It's so weird. It's throwing me off.
It's been long for all of you?
Gosh, brutally long.
I don't feel much. It's just all the accolades kind of numb the sensation of time.
I don't know why. Also, I keep forgetting that we have to do a broadcast here Thursday morning.
Me too.
So
for
do
some
I,
reason,
yeah.
I'm like, well, at least Thursday I just go off to Wisconsin. No, I got to do a show here.
What are you guys so worried about? Greatest show of all time.
No, lunchroom.
It was
lunch stealers.
Lunchroom etiquette story, I guess.
No, I think it's from working ahead, right? The days are off.
Yeah.
Trying to get things done ready for Friday since we're quite limited at the live broadcast. Which, again, that is a terrible idea to do a live broadcast from somewhere.
I want nothing to do with it.
And a worse idea is to invite people and try and give them the impression that it's going to be a good time.
I know, that's the worst part.
The rest of it will be fun.
I might let the rest of you handle it. But really, who cares? who just said something about readying ourselves for Friday's broadcast? Was that you, Josh?
I think it was
There's
me,
nothing to ready. There's nothing to ready.
There's a couple things to ready.
No, there is not. No, we just sit down, make a few noises, and it's over. It's a live broadcast.
Well, that's the impression.
It doesn't count.
You're right, it doesn't count. It shouldn't count.
All right.
I'm sorry. It's all right. You know what it is? Maybe you're hangry. Wapple, go grab a lunch out of the lunchroom, would you? Just pick one, whichever looks good.
No, we just got an email.
That's not the email that I saw. Don't worry, you guys, about this and that. It's going to be fine. I'm sorry that the week has felt long for you.
Yeah, not like in a bad way. Just it's weird where every day I think it's 2 days, in the future.
Yep.
All right, I hear you.
Craig Rosensbeard says, greatest lunch thieves of all time. I'll go along with that. I'm a relatively humble individual, but I will say we're pretty good at it.
Lunch thieves?
Yes. True story, there was a time where that was a major, when there was people here, it's different now. We still have lunches, I think, from when we took over Rev 105 in this building.
Yeah, that fridge is gross.
This whole place is gross. It's a huge building which was filled with hundreds of people at one time, and we're under 30?
Yeah.
Probably less than that.
I get scared if I see somebody that's not the four of you guys. Like, if somebody else is in the office, I'm like, oh, God. Oh.
So true.
There was a time where angry emails and notes were being posted because people or someone was stealing lunches out of there, stealing portions of lunches.
Such a dick move.
And we've told this story before, but it's so crazy I have to bring it up again. Our biggest boss, the general manager, the queen of the radio station, of 3 radio stations.
3 of them.
And she was a hard ass. I got along with her. I'm one of the only people in the building that liked her. I don't know why we had a friendship. Well, okay, maybe not a friendship. I don't know why we got along. I'll put it that way. I know, Nick, you despised her.
Neither do I.
And for good reason. For good reason. I did like her enough, but she was the picture of a corporate boss, which is why this, to me, is fascinating. She wrote this email saying, I have tarnished a lunch in one of the refrigerators. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if she put Ipecac or there was something in there which I don't think is legal.
She put rat poison or something in a lunch. She's not telling us which one.
Right. And just to say, this is how serious I am about it. You will vomit from your butthole for a week and a half.
And then we'll know who's been swiping all these lunches.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
This was a move, a legitimate move made by a corporate...
biggest boss in the somebody, a well-respected member of the whole corporation.
Yeah, I have peed on a lunch.
That's kind of awesome.
And so whoever shows up at the meeting this afternoon with pee on their breath, we will know they're the ones. It was so bizarre.
So, yeah, we worked with pee breath back in the day. After did they ever figure out actually who was stealing it?
I wasn't following it. I was just busy being mad at you for hanging out with her.
Yeah, I know. I put 3 well-defined pubes in a tuna fish sandwich.
Right.
Oh, I should have picked a different sandwich. I didn't mean to make that connection.
I knew what you were doing, and I knew you meant no connection between the pubes and the tuna.
I put 3 well-defined pubes in a pink taco. I did it again.
You made it worse, man.
Yeah, it was worse.
They quickly assume you're making some kind of vaginal reference when I know you're not.
It was a roast beef sandwich, right?
You know what, Waffle? You're gross.
Gross,
Shame
dude.
on you.
We have covered some gross subjects this week. There was a conversation. We didn't start it. Shannon Sharp from the world of professional football and also from that same world, Chad Ochocinco, they started that conversation about farting etiquette in relationships. Ashley is to blame for a conversation we had yesterday, the day before, on dog semen.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that was gross. Did you clean that thing?
Nope, not yet.
What's wrong with you?
A lot.
There's a list online, maybe we can cover here real quick, of things that people find disgusting, even though most folks find it normal. Things that people find absolutely disgusting, most of us look at it as a normal thing. Let me see here if it... Sure. Kids were mentioned, I think, so many times in this online conversation that they've left it off the list because the list was just overwhelmed with kids who do this and kids who do that. And I've been saying this for years. Kids make me sick. They're always dripping something.
Seriously.
Or oozing or coughing.
Sticky.
Or they're sticky. They
are
smell
always
bad.
sticky.
Always.
They smell like garbage. So,
It's not, you know what I found out? Once it's your kid, it's not as bad. And I have talked to other parents that feel the same way, where I thought, I'm not going to be able to change a diaper or wipe a nose. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, for whatever reason, it wasn't as bad.
There's some truth behind that.
There's always some kind of foulness. So if you are going to text in and say, what about kids this and kids that, it was removed from the conversation just because it's the most obvious answer.
Yeah, there's some gross stories I could tell. There's some pretty nasty stuff that's happened, but when it's yours, it doesn't seem as bad, at least to me.
Because I am one of those people that find children completely disgusting, even though I think most folks find it to be normal for a kid to be covered in their own feces or... There you go. Things people find disgusting. Things that some people find disgusting, even though most of us think it's normal. Here we go. Here are some of them. People's breath being in your face. And they say any breath, good or bad, just breath in your face is disgusting to some people.
Yeah, especially like hot breath.
Yeah, like when you feel it.
Yeah.
When you feel it pumping against your skin as a person talks. You know, like when they're pushing out P words and you get and your face feels the of the consonant or whatever. You know,
I don't even really like when dogs do that to you. You feel that hot dog breath on your face.
Oh,
Wobble.
I hate that, Wapple.
What about puppy breath?
Aww.
Completely different, isn't it?
All right, that's kind of adorable.
Puppy breath.
Puppy breath is like a drug.
It can be. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm not disgusted by breath puffing against my face. Certainly, I notice it. I'm not disgusted by it. Some people, even if it's good, minty, lovely breath, it bothers them. Most of us, I don't think, are too badly affected by it. Here's one that I really don't know much about. Dirty dishwater. Some people can't even handle touching it. They find it completely disgusting.
Oh,
That's definitely me.
Dirty dish. What do you... I mean,
I'm confused by that.
I remember when we were kids sometimes, if the dishwasher broke, we'd have a big bucket of dishwater that we'd wash the dish. But it's been so long, I really can't relate.
My mom wasn't huge on... My family wasn't big on dishwashers when I was a kid, so, like, we just hand washed everything, and so we, fill up the sink, and my thing was once you start washing the dishes, by the time you get to them, it's like soggy. Like there's scraps in there that are soggy.
I remember
you almost
that.
barfed right
It
there.
is so disgusting to me.
I remember the chunks of green lettuce and food. Okay.
No.
I haven't had a dishwasher for a lot of my life, so I don't even think about it, really.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't get my first dishwasher until I was 26. So I grew up washing dishes. I was a dishwasher at a couple restaurants. I loved that job.
You're immune to this.
Well, so I just think, it never was much of a thing. But there were, I can tell you, at the restaurants I worked at, there were people, sometimes we'd be crazy busy. There'd be one dishwasher and we needed help. And so they'd have sometimes a server or maybe a prep cook step in. And there was a couple of people that just wouldn't do it for that reason. They they couldn't get their hands into that, roast beef sandwich and whatever.
Gloves kind of help, but I can still tell that I'm touching soggy food and it just nope.
I remember those days now. Every once in a while you'd have to fist a bucket of dirty dishwater and this and that. Okay, the next on the list of something that some people find disgusting. Most of us aren't too tortured by it. If this bothers you, you're not going to get far hanging out with my dad. Hearing someone with a heavy, productive cough.
Oh, yeah, those big wet coughs.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
That can get you every once in a while.
That's all my dad does all day long. And that's all he's done for 35 years.
When I hear somebody doing that, I'm just like, come on, get it out. You're so close. Just get it out.
Long fake nails disgust some people. And I got to say, it doesn't disgust me, but it kind of unnerving to look at those really long fingernails. I don't know what it is. It kind of gives me the willies.
I just
Should
wonder how you
disgust
do
you.
things.
That's what I was gonna
Like
say.
I do keep mine short to the point where people make fun of me. But
How do you wipe?
You change, like, I don't know, any girl could say if they've had fake nails before, you're used to it. You just naturally change the way you do things. Like, instead of texting with the tip of my thumbs, I use the side of my thumbs. It's just natural.
when you have the longer nails,
But I hate them. I actually think they, after about 2 days, they get pretty gross because you're grabbing everything and touching everything. You look under those nails, oof.
on the topic of kids being gross, some parents are texting and saying, yeah, I thought the same thing. There's no way to be able to handle it. And then there's a magical transformation when it's your own kid. It doesn't seem as bad. I'm assuming a teacher checked in and said, you should see what's on some of the assignments that gets turned in. Oh, I'll bet.
No.
I'll bet.
Don't even do it. If you find this disgusting, then you likely hate hanging out with me, people who spit on the sidewalk or out in public.
It doesn't bother me.
I'm a spitter. I'll spit on the sidewalk. I spit in a trash can. I'll spit in your sink. Because I often have a big fat skull in my yapper. And
Remember?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No. It's spitting on the sidewalk or out in public. And I've crossed paths with people who they can't believe that you turned and spit on a side. Oh God, you just spit. I don't. Some people find it to be wildly gross.
We worked with an engineer who, remember, he talked to you about your spit.
Yeah.
He took the garbage can out of here that, we need to throw stuff away because he didn't want spit in there.
That guy was
They made a drop about it too.
A drop?
Yeah, like a radio drop. It said Chris Lindahl Studios, the only studio with chew spit.
I don't
really?
I never heard that.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, Derek made it.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I guess I never heard that.
I never listened to the show outside of our program. Or I never listened to this station outside of our program, is how I should have put that, even though it was a sarcastic comment and went nowhere. I do listen once in a while.
People texting in about working with people with the breath issues. I forgot. We had a coworker we used to call halitosis because it was bad.
Yeah, bad breath.
It was a woman, so it was galitosis.
Galitosis.
But woo-wee.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I mean, just in the same room, it was bad.
I don't know how you can call this disgusting. It certainly pisses me off. But this is supposed to be a list of things that people find disgusting. Some people find disgusting. Most of us are fine with. Keeping your shoes on in the house. And I get pissed off if people try to walk around my house with their shoes on, but I don't find it disgusting. That's a completely different mindset there. When people let their dogs lick their face.
Oh, yeah,
don't
those
mind
people
that.
wouldn't like me. Yeah, I let my dogs lick my face. I don't care.
Yeah, I remember when we were kids, my dad could not understand it. He could not understand why we would let the dogs lick our face. And he'd say, do you watch what your damn dog does all day long? He's cleaning his own ass with his mouth, and you're letting him. Still to this day, he can't understand watching someone allow a dog to lick their face.
I think we talked about it on the show during Stupid News one time, but a kid put lipstick on a cat's butt so he could mark where the cat sat and how gross it was. And oh boy, I never looked at my cat the same again.
Just rubbing that butt everywhere.
Yeah, it's on top of counters, tables, just everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
Waffles,
the
some
butthole's
people
just right there.
The bunghole?
Yeah, the cats.
Some people are really grossed out by a cat's ass. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with a cat's ass.
I don't know.
I never really thought about it until I saw that video or photos or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, that is kind of gross."
Butt's been everywhere.
And I know people who, because I've got, I'm at a higher level now, as you know. I'm a cat owner, just like you. And I have people who can't understand why I allow the cat to sit on the counter and sit up by the fridge and put his ass on there. It doesn't bother me at all. Cat's ass can go wherever it wants to go.
Another one I thought of was the cats just go in the litter box all the time too, so they're stepping on poop and pee all the time, and then they're walking around your house.
Doesn't bother me.
I'm wondering if I could train. I have one of my dogs, and he's a large dog, so he's, almost at eye level if you're sitting down. And I want to train him to lower his tail when he walks around, because sometimes you're looking at a Surlac pit. I mean, it's just pure beehole. And I'm thinking, I don't need to see that every single day. It's disgusting. Are you able to train your dog to walk around with his tail? Have some modesty, I always
His
say.
tail between his, if you scare him enough every time, I guess
Every
that might
time
work.
he's walking, just scare him.
Maybe that's why some people are mean to their dogs. So the tail is always down and their beehole isn't pressing up against your favorite pillow.
Like people, he is not intimidated by me, so I don't think I could do anything to intimidate him.
Some people find this really gross. Guys who openly scratch or adjust their gear in the company of others. Sometimes we got to do what we got to do. Sorry if you're so grossed out by it. Accidentally touching the inside of a sink while washing your hands. Those got to be some real germaphobes there or
Yeah,
something.
definitely.
That's never come up in my brain.
Yeah, people are mentioning, with the dishwasher or water, that when it's cold, that grosses them out. But when it's hot, they don't get bothered by it.
There is a difference.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Another one here where if you're grossed out by this, you wouldn't last long with me. Big, fat sneezes, loud scream sneezes. They call them here dad sneezes. I come up with really loud, wet sneezes, and there's nothing I can do about it. What can I do? If you can't squeeze it off, you're going to give yourself a hernia. Mm-hmm. I let her buck, and I can't help it. I mean, I have people who get mad at me, which is bizarre, at how hard and loud I sneeze, but it's a human reaction. What am I supposed to do about it?
This is a good one from Kickin' Rock's laborer Jesus. I can't stand when someone needs to clear their throat, but they don't and just keep talking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, we
It
had a
gurgles.
teacher. We had a teacher in high school. She would refuse to clear her throat while talking and talking and talking like teachers do. So it would be this, in 1750, it was overwhelming amount of phlegm. I didn't like it. One of my best friends at the time would just be, his skin would crawl. It made him so sick to hear that.
Yeah,
so
that is pretty gross.
I know a guy, he's dead now, but when we were young, he could not handle that. He would just get the creeps. I know where they're going with that.
The absolute worst is certainly former Chicago Bull Dennis Rodman.
Oh, boy.
If you listen to him talk, you can hear everything going on in his mouth.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, God, that gets me.
You can hear the liquid traveling from his throat to his nose and his nose to his... what else?
Real quick, we had a teacher in middle school, and when he would talk, the spit would kind of form on the corners of his mouth.
Yeah.
And you would see it get bigger and bigger and bigger
those-
until eventually it would come off of his lip and go into the students.
The dry spit collection. Yeah.
And then it's like if you're in the front row, it was like a splash zone, so no one wanted to be there.
Yuck. Or like when there's that white paste on either side.
Oh, gross.
This is really interesting, this one. And I've got something to say about it. Things that some people find disgusting. Most of us are cool with it. Disgusting isn't quite the word I would use here. American flag clothing. Some hardliners consider it distasteful, if not disrespectful, to the flag. Okay, now here's where I go with that. Obviously, if you're wearing a USA hat, a USA shirt, what the hell am I going to say about it? I don't even notice it 99% of the time. It's the over-the-top guy on the 4th of July who's got the hat and the shirt and the shorts and the socks and the Crocs and the wristwatch. And, it's obviously a sarcastic bit. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what aggravates me. And they just, all day long, they're doing the America bit. Everything's America. They're intentionally being like a cartoon character of an over-the-top American. I've had enough of that bit, that specific bit. I've seen it so many times. We get it. You're doing the sarcastic American hard-on character. That's where I get bothered. Not disgusted, but bothered.
Isn't it against flag code, technically? To be?
That's what I thought.
I always thought that was kind of a thing. Chipman Jesus said, how about dandruff on someone's shoulders? Nasty.
I've never noticed that before.
Dude, not for many years, but when we were kids, I knew some folks who had some dandruff problems, and that troubled me.
Oh, we had a former co-worker where it was legendary. Legendary how much there was...
Yeah.
All over the place, really.
Yeah, and the poor bastard would wear black T-shirts. And it was just, let's close her out here. Things that some people find disgusting. Most of us are all right with it. communal food. Some people won't touch it. Potlucks, pizza parties.
Oh, yeah. I know
don't
people
mind.
that, like, I love it. You go to a bar and there's the peanuts. I'll go for it, but I know people that won't touch that at all.
My mom won't go to a buffet because she saw someone go to the bathroom, not wash their hands, and then go right to the buffet line.
Dude.
That was her in the bathroom?
I'd still roll the dice.
I would too. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
My brother's son, so that would be my nephew, correct, Josh?
Yep.
Your brother's son would be your nephew.
At my nephew's high school graduation party, my dad directly coughed into the crock pot full of sloppy joes.
Oh, no.
And then made himself a sloppy joe and walked away.
Did anyone see it outside of you?
Yes.
Oh.
A few of us saw it and just thought, you've got to be. And then 10 minutes later, my dad urinated in public. But anyway, he's standing over the crock pot of sloppy joes. And right before he scoops some out, you got to take a coughing break. And I'm not exaggerating. That's how he sounds. And it's all spraying into the sloppy. And then he made himself one, and he walks back, sits down. So, what do you guys think about the twins?
Gross.
Reefer Van Jesus said, how about folks that slurp? Growing up, my older brother, while eating cereal, would slurp every time the spoon hit his yap.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna
He
be
said it
honest.
caused a lot of fights growing up.
My boyfriend does that when we eat noodles, and I've come close to just completely coming unscrewed and freaking out.
Just slap him in the mouth when he's in the middle of slurping one of those noodles.
Not quite the same, but a friend of mine's dad, growing up, when we'd be at his house quite a bit, and his dad would make sounds every time he ate. Oh. And his dad was old. I mean, his dad was in his 60s, when we were in high school. But it was every time he'd be like, every time.
Off-putting.
Every time.
Like that scene from What About Bob? I grew up with a kid who would hum while he ate. Hum a song, and it drove me nuts. Eventually, he grew out of it, but I'm not kidding you. In the morning, we'd, start whipping windmilling Rice Krispies into our yaps, and he'd do this. Once he had a mouthful of food, he'd go,
It's so bizarre.
I totally hum when I eat. You're making me realize
You do,
that.
really?
Yeah, it's like because I'm happy.
Oh, the Smurfs theme song.
It didn't matter. He would hum a little tune, and finally, I think by the time we were 15, I said, "Stop it!"
Is it possible when you were a kid to watch Saturday morning cartoons without having cereal?
Oh, you had to have cereal.
I think you pretty much it was a given, right?
Mm-hmm. Finally, on the list of things that some people find repulsive, but most of us are all right with, swimming pools. Oh, I'm as cool as a fool in a swimming pool.
Is it because of the pee?
Probably because of the urine.
It's because of pee.
Yeah.
I pee in everyone's swim. Finally, mayonnaise. I'm going to use it in a sentence. Do you guys mind if I use it in a sentence?
Please do.
Mayonnaise belongs in the garbage.
Oh, I love mayo.
You're absolutely correct on that.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan. I mean, there's certain foods that have it in that I like. Potato salad. I can go through some potato salad.
Really? That's the one thing I can't do, but put mayo on every single sandwich I eat, please.
Mm-hmm. And then put it in the garbage. All right, there you go. There you go. We were talking about so much gross stuff, Josh. I thought we'd talk about some stuff that wasn't that gross. But in the end, it turned out kind of gross.
It did turn out gross.
But that's how we operate around here.
A few people texted in and said they put their spoons down during this conversation. Just
Smart.
couldn't do it.
We got a hell of a deal this morning. We got a Wednesday broadcast, and Janel Klein's going to be here. We got to take a break. We'll be right back on the program ski.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Get an inside look at Hollywood with Michael Rosenbaum, talking with the Phelps brothers.
My gym I go to here is owned by a load of Polish guys. I don't really fit in, a bit leaner, shall we say. And this guy waddles over to me one day and he said, I was back in Poland visiting my family, and my niece said, you're going to have to see this program. All of a sudden I see you and he's at my gym. My niece wouldn't believe me, so I had to have a photo with this guy. His name is literally Tank as well.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, before we get going, Waffle, question.
Yes.
I just heard I heard the commercial you just did for the Uplift Aesthetics.
Mm-hmm. Aesthetics.
And so you were talking about they can make you look better and all that kind of stuff. Who on the show could really benefit from Uplift Aesthetics? Who do you think most?
Definitely me.
I don't think so.
No, I'd agree with that.
Oh, you would agree? You think it's you?
Yeah.
What would you change? Of everything they offer, what would you change?
Right now, I'm doing my arms. They've got this M-Sculpt Neo machine. It burns fat and builds muscle, so you just sit there for a half hour.
Are you serious? You're really doing it?
Yeah.
Have you noticed a difference?
Not really. But
I want to get swole.
Yeah. It does what to your arms?
It like melts away the fat and it builds muscle.
You have fat on your arms?
Not really, but it just turns straight to muscle.
What in the hell is going
Are
on?
you so really? That's something you can do?
Yeah, and then they do laser hair removal, so I did a little bit of that on my cheeks and my neck. I haven't seen my hair come back in, so I won't have to shave.
You're turning into Zac Efron over there.
Yeah, he's gonna be a stud.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Well, I was hoping you'd call one of us out. But you're a humble gentleman, and you pointed at yourself.
Because he humble. You don't need to...
Who's a close second, then, to you?
Dana.
Yeah. I was waiting for that.
Was he the first? Because, Dana, we all thought of you, obviously. Was he the first person you really thought of, and you were being a nice guy?
Totally.
Man, I thought you were just going to take him for the team there, Waffle.
I like it when things get real.
Really needed that warm fuzzy today, man.
Dana is very odd looking. He's very odd looking.
I am.
I do wonder, you've become such an expert, Waffle. Now, do you walk around and go, that person could benefit from this particular procedure, or boy, you really need to do this, Botox or whatever you do?
My girlfriend actually, she'll look at me and she'll make a face and she's like, all right, where do you think I need Botox? And I'm like, well, right there where you're getting an angry line on your eyes and stuff like that.
You're confident enough to say that to her?
Oh, totally, because
you got balls, man.
Yeah, she loves it. She loves the Botox and stuff like that because it makes people feel better about themselves.
I can never tell. My wife can pick it out. She can pick it out of a crowd, and certain people can tell. I have no clue.
Yeah, same here. People will be like, oh my God, they must have had work done. I'm like, I don't know, same to me.
Yeah, now I know the difference between Botox and filler.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't even know who you are anymore. You're like a supermodel over there.
See, here's the thing with Dana. Obviously, his hairdo needed some help, and he's in the process of getting that done.
Yeah.
But as far as your face goes, I mean, you don't need to go see a professional. Just come on, the joke's over. Take the mask off.
I remember how hurtful.
Dude, just take it off.
I remember how hurtful the first time I heard that joke around Halloween. What a perfect time for that joke. It's maybe second grade, and someone's like, "Hey, Halloween was yesterday. You should take the mask off."
Oh, are you saying I'm ugly?
I'm like, well, that hurt my feelings. I'm not wearing a mask.
All right, if you've been listening for a few minutes now, if you were listening from the get-go, which was almost an hour ago already. Jesus Christ.
What are we still doing here? My goodness.
If you were listening from the get-go and you thought we were done with the gross material, you were wrong. This isn't on purpose. It just happens. We got a couple of stories here in the...
It's a real news story.
They're real news stories.
This is real.
And we are contractually obliged to cover them. How about those commercial airplane rides, huh? They're just nothing but laughs these days, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, those are fun.
I was trying to think of the last time I've been on an airplane, and I think it was one of the trips with you, Nick. I don't
been
think
that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's been a long time for me, too. Something called an EasyJet flight was canceled, and all the passengers had to get off the airplane because someone on board smooth pushed out a turd loaf.
This is becoming all too common.
Onto the bathroom floor.
Defecation con number 2, gentlemen. We got to land this plane.
And I mean, from what I can understand here, the passengers on this plane were already having a terrific time, even before some derelict coiled one on the floor of the bathroom. It says here the flight had already been delayed for several hours.
Oof.
even before someone found the log. This happened, that happened. People were told to get off the plane. Then they had to get back on the plane. Eventually, the plane was, like most of us Americans, overweight. So they had to take everybody's suitcases off the plane, and they put them back on. And then just when things were looking up, just when things appeared to be headed in the right direction, someone had to go and baptize a baby Ruth on the damn bathroom floor.
I'd like to be given the option by the pilot. Hey, you guys want to turn around, or are you cool if we just scoop this and throw it away, or whatever they do with it?
Yeah, I'd be fine with just throwing it away.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind picking it up, cool. We can continue to our destination.
Oh, let's keep this thing going. We've already had a long enough day as it is.
Survivors of this incident said they noticed an unpleasant smell at one point, and that's when the word spread that someone had dropped a deuce. The good news is, and I was actually surprised to read this, the good news is that this nightmare did not incite any kind of hand-to-hand death combat match on the airplane amongst passengers.
It's surprising.
I was surprised as well. Certainly no one was happy, but they all kept their cool. Some believed the stray turd was an accident. Some thought it was cut out of anger.
I've never defecated out of anger.
No.
I'm going to pray it was an accident.
I'm going to prove a point here by taking a deuce on the ground.
The cleaning crew jumped aboard to, give the floors a deep wipe. Passengers were allowed to remain in their seats during the cleaning process. Folks were praying that maybe they'd get that bitch off the ground soon enough, but in the end, they had to cancel the flight, and everybody had to get the hell off. Go get a hotel room, Summers, they said. Get good and drunk. We'll try this again tomorrow.
Boy, if you really had to be somewhere, how awful would that be? Because some person pooped on the floor.
Yep, and you were already waiting for 7. It takes them that long to eventually cancel the flight. Oh, I'd be so mad.
The folks at EasyJet, they said the safety and the well-being of our customers and our crew is our highest priority. This was outside of our control. We apologize.
Yeah, if I had to unburden my bowels on a plane, which would be awesome. I don't think I could ever do it. I would go immediately when I felt the urge, and just make sure I make it to the toilet versus having to do it before I hit the toilet. Because I'm hoping it was one of those things where the pants were down as soon as the door closed because they knew it was an emergency.
Yeah, They just missed. They were so close.
That can happen. You probably remember this one. In September, a Delta Airlines airplane got diarrhea on it.
Yeah, that was something to see.
There was vomit all over the seats on an Air Canada plane a few weeks ago, and the dangerous combination of human feces and blood made for some problems on an Air France airplane, too, here lately. So,
That diarrhea trail, though, that one I'll never forget.
Never.
Oh, never. Poor lady. Oh, man.
I wonder if I'll ever get on an airplane ever again. I told myself I never would the last time. And like we were just discussing, I don't even remember when the last time was. A decade ago or so. I mean, I've gone to Chicago a couple times to see Megadeth and Iron Maiden, and I can't even remember. But I wonder if I'll ever do it. Do you think you'll ever do it again? Because Josh and I have had the same stance, if that's what you want to call it, on airplane rides. We just don't like them, and we just don't care to see other parts of the world. Doesn't interest us even a little bit. So what do you think? You'll ever get on another one for another ride?
I mean, I'm sure I will, simply because my wife does like to travel.
Doesn't she have some guy on the side she can take?
3 guys on the side, different parts of the country.
Well, she can hit any. There you go.
I mean, she covers the north, but she's got the East Coast, West Coast, and South covered as well.
Smart.
Some muscular dudes.
I have no desire, but we'll see. Things can change. People can change. All right, now, why would someone do something like this here? About 35 porta potties, or as Wapple would say, like porter potties, 35 of them. Some of them full of urine and liquefied human feces were stolen from a racetrack in England. And the owner of these effing things has no effing idea how this happened or why this happened. The owner says the toilets are not easy to move. Some of them were still plumb full. He thinks the thieves must have made about 4 or 5 trips to the track in order to swipe all of them. I know to some of you, porta potties are nothing but awful smelling 130-degree plastic torture chambers, but the damn things are worth $1,000 apiece.
Holy cow.
So the owner guy, he isn't enjoying this at all.
No.
That's an interesting thing to steal, for sure. I think they're starting a business, or maybe honestly, or are they
selling them on Craigslist?
2 portable toilets for disabled folks were also stolen. Those go for around $1,500.
A lot more leg room in those ones.
The local cops are still looking into this effing nightmare. What the hell, Cubby?
Yeah, I mean, especially stealing the full ones. You better be careful.
I think maybe you're right. I think some derelict out there thought, well, I'm going to start a porter potty business, and I know where the hell am I supposed to have sex with strange women at Brainerd International Raceway if the biffies are all gone?
Exactly. Or back in the day, Edge Fest or X Fest. That doesn't happen at Wee Fest, does it?
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Sure it does.
Lilith Fair, does it happen at Lilith Fair?
That's where they started it. Was at Lilith Fair. This is impressive now. This here next story. In Kenya, don't you know? A fake lawyer who had no formal training at all won all 26 of his cases.
How bad are the legitimate lawyers in Kenya?
Yeah.
How embarrassed would you be if you got beat by a fake lawyer?
He won all 26 of his cases with no formal training at all, but now he's been arrested. And it sounds like all of Kenya wants to beat this dude's ass. But damn, I wouldn't be able to fool one single person into thinking I was a lawyer. I can't even speak their language, not even for 30 seconds. I'm way too uneducated for that bit. Hell, we have a local attorney up in here once in a while by the name of Ryan Pasiga. I can barely understand a word he's saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you imagine if he didn't have a law degree? He's convincing. Not only does he look the part, but yeah, that guy, he can talk circles around you.
Yeah.
And he knows everyone.
He does.
Boy.
That's got to be pretty helpful, don't you think?
Oh,
Yeah.
when I was in court, he just walked in the doors like he owned the place, and he's saying hi to everyone. How's the family? I was like, oh, thank God.
I'm in good,
Yeah, you thought-
I'm in good hands.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and the lawyer, or he and the judge, they had a tea time later that day.
Yeah, he was talking to the judge. He's like, how the kids doing? I'm like, oh.
Oh, this here Kenyan fella, he practiced law over there under the name of Brian Mawenda. He's been accused of stealing the identity of a real lawyer named Brian Mawenda Twiga. So he kind of just altered the name of the... But he won all 26 of his cases, and he was just winging it. But now he's been arrested. And the term public outrage is used a couple times in this year's story, so I'm a little worried about how things are going to turn out for a player. Obviously, as brilliant as he must have been to pull this caper off, what he did was effing dumb as hell, too. The real Brian Mawenda Twiga is pretty pissed off about all this, and I can't blame him at all. He's trying to make a living, and this next effing guy, some phony puke, is stealing his vibe.
I feel like if I tried to fake being a lawyer, I would just say things I've seen in movies, you know, like, I object, Your Honor. I want the truth. Like, okay, great, sir. You've seen A Few Good Men. Please leave.
I will say this fake lawyer, he looks the part, too. If he told me he was a lawyer, I'd be convinced.
Does he look like a lawyer?
He sure does. Take a look at this guy. Handsome gentleman.
Son of a bee. Yeah, I would think he's the
guy.
The main lawyer in all of... I have to say, though... not that I should pick on anyone's appearance, but he has the most narrow shoulders of any grown man I've ever seen.
He is quite thin. Yeah, you're right. I wonder if it's just the picture, but his head does seem disproportionately large to the rest of him.
I think I'd have him beat, but I have this small head on this slender frame, so I think that helps.
Yeah, you're more proportionate. You and your giant arms nowadays.
Yeah, God, you're so jacked, Wapple. Yeah, Turtle Lake Casino, come on out and arm wrestle Wapple. He'll kick your ass.
Drunk dude up in Canada crashed his car and blamed it on a squirrel. In, British Columbia, a dude rolled his vehicle smooth over, went sailing off the road. He landed in a mud pile. He's lucky he didn't get killed dead. When the Canadian cops rolled up and pulled this clown loose from his vehicle, they, of course, asked him what the hell happened. And he told the cops that a squirrel had upped and wandered out onto the highway. He jerked the wheel to avoid killing the squirrel, and next thing you know, he was doing ass over apple cart barrel rolls.
I was in the 93X van once. We were on the way back from a promotion, and the promotions assistant who was driving it, she tried to avoid a squirrel, and we ended a squirrel, and we ended up in a daycare parking lot just down the road. You know what I'm talking about? Right down.
I know what you're.
Yeah. And she was bawling because she thought she hit the thing. Squirrel was okay.
See, after you hit like your first animal, you kind of get over that shock. I think because I always thought this is gonna be awful when I hit a squirrel. Knowing myself, I was like, I'm gonna have to pull over,
and then you get
cry.
a thirst for it, and you want to do it again and again and again.
Exactly what happened. Yup, I hit a what are those? An opossum or whatever it's called. It just dead on, and I was waiting for myself to get emotional. And I ended up just laughing. I was like, all right, maybe...
A maniacal laugh?
The person I was with, I guess afterwards, told people that they were kind of afraid of me, yeah.
Now, we're driving to Wisconsin tomorrow, and watch, I'm going to jinx myself, but I've never hit an animal, thankfully. Never
knock on wood.
Or anything else.
I've hit a couple animals. I've never hit a dog. I imagine that would trouble me. I know a couple of guys who have hit dogs, and... You know, in one case, the dog was screaming in pain, and he still is bothered by it to this day. And what made it even worse is, he hits this dog out of nowhere. The dog runs out of a neighborhood, basically right into his wheel well. And not only when he gets out of his vehicle is the dog just in horrible pain and crying, but here comes the family that was chasing the dog down the road, trying to get it to come back. The mother, if that's what you want to call it, of the dog, says, "You son of a bitch bastard, you killed my dog." So now he's got that cooking, right? He said the only thing that made him feel better is the family scooped up this poor dog, who was a goner, to try to get it to the emergency vet. And the father, the husband, took a minute to say, "Dude, do not listen to what my wife just said. You had no chance. You had no choice in this. This is not your fault. The dog ran." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So he said that was the only thing that kept him from just sitting on the sidewalk and crying for the rest of the evening.
Absolutely.
Hitting a dog would F me up.
Awful.
I had a family of deer IF me on my way to work yesterday. I'm so intimidated, there's no way I ever want to upset them. No way. This doe in particular, I thought we were going to go.
Yeah?
I didn't know what was going on.
The cops had some funny jokes about this guy blaming a squirrel for his drunken rollover. Do you want to hear the jokes?
Yeah.
In a cute social media post, the local cop said that the squirrel that scurried out onto the road remained at the scene and was told by police to wear brightly colored clothing to cross the road next time. Oh, but after listening to this driver's hilarious story, the cops noticed an open bottle of Canadian hooch in his car, and then the poor bastard failed the roadside breathalyzer challenge. What happened? Squirrel, dude.
Yeah, definitely squirrel. Back to our previous story about the fake Kenyan lawyer. Always tired Southern Minnesota welder Jesus said, "Watched one episode of Matlock. I'm now a lawyer." Well, off to the courtroom.
Oh! I'll tell you another story about animals being run over. I dated a girl many years ago. Sweetest thing in the world. She was a very sweet gal. And she loved my dog, my dachshund, Ozzy. She loved him very much and was very good to him. But she's a little spacey. One time she locked him in her car when it was 103 degrees. And the dog's in the car going, I think I'm going to die soon. Can anyone get me out of the... And we had to have the fire department get the dog out of the... Another time, just because she was a little spacey, she didn't pay attention. The dog goes running for the highway. So I didn't fully trust her with my dog. And then, but we were dating, and I was leaving town, and she loved the dog. Would you look after my dog for me? I said, and she said, I'd love to. He's the cutest little dog. But I had this fear in the back of my head. Something bad's going to happen. Because whenever I leave her in charge of this dog, something goes sideways. So I leave for this fishing trip, and in the middle of the fishing trip, I get a call, and it's the girlfriend. And I go, oh, Jesus. And when I pick up the phone, all I can hear is this girlfriend going, and I said, what, hello, what's going on? And it run over, and I didn't instant run over. And I'm thinking, for God's sake, she let the dog get run over. And I said, what are you trying to say? And she said, I was driving and it run over. And then I said to myself, oh, for God's sake, she ran over the dog. I said, please calm down. What happened? I was driving and I ran over a duck.
That is sad, though.
And I
Poor
said,
duck.
what? I was driving a duck and I ran over. I said, for God's sake, don't ever do this to me again.
Poor duck. I think I know who you're talking about. She loved animals.
She did.
Yeah. Barsaw Jesus said, my dad hit a puppy the day after Christmas. It still had the red bow on its neck.
Oh, Jesus.
And a follow-up, the dog was fine.
Oh!
Thank you. I needed that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, are you trying to make me cry today, guys?
How about my dad when he ran over the mother wolf who was jogging down the side of the road with her 2 wolf pups?
That's a lie.
That was a tough one. That was tough. My dad used to get a lot of action before he remarried my mother. Josh knows that. Josh saw my dad in action.
Oh, yeah. Handsome fella.
Pulled a lot of women.
Especially back in the day.
Back in the day. And he had this fishing shack in the middle of nowhere, and he's bringing this hot mama up to his fishing shack for the first time. And when you get up close to my dad's old fishing shack, it's beautiful with the trees and the bears. You see bears and wolves and things. And it just so happened one night they're coming down the trail to the fishing shack right at dusk, and there's a mother timber wolf and her 2 pups are slowly jogging down the trail.
So sweet.
Yes. I mean, you see them from time, but not like that. It was like a friggin' movie. And my dad slowed way down and was just trailing them. And he was kind of excited to show this new piece of ass he was dating. Look how beautiful. Look at this, a mother wolf and the 2 pups. And she's going, oh my God, that's so sweet. And then out of nowhere, honest to God, the mother wolf just put herself right under the old man's truck tires. He's in the middle of saying, yes, the wolf population here is quite prevalent. Boom. And he says, oh, Jesus, what was that? And he killed the mother wolf. And then the pups are on the side of the road, and where's Mom? What happened? It's terrible.
That is a terrible story.
He felt so bad, and he said there was nothing he could do. For whatever reason, the damn thing just cut right under him. Oh, for Christ's sake! And then the DNR's got to come out, and
the wolf,
the pups are in the ditch going, is Mom going to get up or what? They're looking at my dad, and my dad says, I don't talk wolf. I can't explain this to you. And then
did they understand, or were they dicks to him?
A bear came up and ate the pups, so that was the end of
the circle of life.
But he felt, I mean, really, honestly, he felt so. He still to this day, he doesn't know what happened. He feels so bad. I
feel terrible too.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the new piece of action that he's with thinks he's a killer.
Oh yeah, that would be it for me. I would never be able to look at him the same.
Oh, you would
no.
too.
Are you serious?
It was a friggin' accident.
I'd be done. I'd be like, did you? I'd bring it up in every fight.
You, of all people, should understand driving errors. If you even want to call it that. It wasn't even his fault. The mother cut right under the...
That's so weird.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Oh, someone texted in and said, from all the deer hunters, thank your dad for us.
I've never seen a wolf in the wild. Is anyone here? That'd be something.
Yeah.
No, that would be really cool, though. Was it up north?
Yeah.
Nick, yeah?
Yeah. Middle of nowhere. All right, what should... Oh, God, we got to go. Maybe I shouldn't even go on with another story because these last two stories. But I hate to end on an animal death. Anyone got anything cute?
Well, you could probably really... The next story wouldn't need much.
No, it doesn't. I'm going to blow through this. A couple days ago, we mentioned that apparently big Hindenburg-sized pubes are out. And smaller, more manageable-sized pubes are the new hip thing.
Sweater boobs.
Sweater boobs.
Sweater boobs, they called it. And maybe it's time, really. I've got no problem with planet-sized boobs, but I'm just a little burned out on the people used to make fun of me, but now I make $17 billion on OnlyFans stories. The latest here is a gal who says her 34 double K cans are so big that they nearly caused a car crash. Yeah, she makes a six-figure salary now. So here comes the marathon of humble brags. She makes all the money in the world because of how stacked she is, but her gargantuan tank top bombs make it tough for her to get around. She knocks things over with them. She accidentally crushes things on tables. She suffocated a kitten. I'm kidding. Here's the car crash scenario. One time she went horseback riding, and her double watermelon-sized jugs upped and jumped out of her shirt, and at the same time a car was passing by, and the driver lost control of the vehicle.
Okay.
I could see that being distracting to, a man or a woman who sees something that large. And I forgot, I did see a wolf. And it was next to a freeway. It was alive and everything. And I had mentioned it on the air. People were texting me saying I'm an idiot. I don't know the difference between a wolf and a coyote, which is stupid. I see coyotes all the time. Well, I shouldn't say all the time, but a few times a year, certainly. And I had got a text from the Eagan Police Department saying, yeah, we got about like 7 calls on that thing. So I don't know if they ever found it.
Oh, wow.
But it was like, that was an intimidating look.
I can imagine.
Staring at it. But I've never seen like them just running around the woods or something like that.
Never been to a Timberwolves game?
Do they have real wolves there?
You know, there's one that does wear pants.
There is?
Yeah.
I've been to plenty of Timberwolves games. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, just wears a basketball jersey, no pants.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, usually you see those fully clothed wolves running around the woods. So what a sight that must be.
It ain't over yet for this gal. Her boobs are so big and magical that she tries on clothes and her cans turn the clothes to dust in the changing room and she's forced to pay for them. She can't fly regular class on airplane rides because there's not enough room for her warlocks. Helicopters attempt to land on her areolas. It's just a... Go ahead, small boobs. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and take over. I'm fine with that. It's time.
Yeah, no one's probably ever crashed their car just with a woman with a normal-sized chest. But when it's a spectacle like this girl's carrying around.
I wish I could have seen the old-timer that blasted into a power pole or whatever when he saw her jugs jumping out of her tank top while she was horseback. Just, huh? And then he goes...
And how do you explain that one? Going back to a previous story, if I had to explain it to my wife, it would have been a squirrel. Or a swirl.
Oh, man.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You consider yourself the greatest wrestler of all time?
Yes.
Why?
Because I am. I'm not on my Mount Rushmore. No, because I don't. I think it's better to have somebody else put you there. But my Mount Rushmore, in terms of importance to the business, is Stone Cold, Hulk, obviously, Undertaker, and I think Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is the greatest performer of all time in our business.
Why is The Rock on your Mount Rushmore?
He would be, except he didn't stay long enough. Part of the Mount Rushmore is longevity.
I hear you, Nate. That right there was the Nate True Boy. People love that Mount Rushmore bit.
Oh, yeah, you see that all the time.
Yeah.
Who's the Mount Rushmore of football, baseball, radio? I get asked that all the time. Who would you put on the Mount Rushmore of radio? And I go,
Is
Cubby.
It all you?
I go, Cubby and Dr. Demento.
Dr. Demento. Well, that's a nice one.
And then I get stuck. But anyway, Nature Boy does not select himself for the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, nor did he select your old lady's ultimate dream, The Rock.
No.
And I think longevity has something to do with it.
Yeah, he bailed.
Shawn Michaels? Dude.
He went forever.
Absolutely.
But I did like that Flair called himself the greatest wrestler of all time, but then humbled himself by saying he's not going to put himself on his Mount Rushmore.
It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
A little bit.
Maybe he's better than Mount Rushmore. I hear people say they're disappointed when they see it.
Yeah, he feels like he shouldn't have to share the spotlight with anybody else.
He's more the Statue of Liberty.
There you go.
You want to hear something interesting, but at the same time awful? You know, we were having a conversation a few minutes ago about when animals get run over on the highway. Some of us have smeared animals across the highway. It's a terrible thing. And depending on what kind of animal it is, sometimes that kind of thing can torture you, stay with you. You're sad, you feel bad. You're only human. This is unbelievable. I mean, we did some stupid, crazy-ass things when we were kids. I've never heard of this game, and I don't recommend it to anybody. A listener texted in and said, we used to play a game in high school we called Scruff. We would take a stuffed animal and put it on the end of some fishing line and pull it across the street when cars drove by.
That's so
Do you see what they're doing there?
That's messed up.
Dude, what the hell is happening there? What was happening? Don't do that. That's how you get people killed on the highway.
Dry-aged ribeye Jesus recommends on this Mount Rushmore of radio, Weenie in the Butt.
Oh, they were good.
What about Dingo and the Baby?
Dingo and the Baby were great, too.
They should be on there.
Crazy Ira and the Douche.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to think of that from Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough call.
Here we go. A fairly competitive ball game turned into garbage last night for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Game 2 of the National League Championship Series went to the Philadelphia Phillies by a final of 10-0. We can get into that in greater detail tonight. Game 3 of the ALCS. The Pigs put the pump down on the Montreal Canadiens last night in Quebec. They got the win 5-2. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder will be here shortly, and we can go bananas with all this nonsense. But you got to stick around for Josh's news report.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany the Budgetnista can help.
If I do even consider lending, I always ask myself, will this solve the problem? So I know you don't have your money for mortgage because you don't have a job. So what happens next month? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about the next month. Now, it's another thing if you're like, hey, Tiffany, I have $1,000 left to pay my car and then I'm car note free and I'll be able to pay you back, the 3 months I used to pay my car note. That solves the problem.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
It certainly is disheartening to think that any law enforcement officer would be a suspect in something like this.
A former Connecticut cop is accused of being a serial burglar who's believed to have committed at least 30 thefts in 3 different states. Patrick Hemingway, who resigned from the Glastonbury Police Department September 1st, is suspected of targeting restaurants and businesses in Connecticut as well as Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Police say surveillance video shows a person resembling Hemingway, at least, committing the crimes. They also say the deftness in which he committed those crimes signaled law enforcement experience. Investigators said the suspected burglar is seen holding a flashlight in a tactical manner using an FBI technique. He was holding a coiled, corded object to his left ear, like the portable radios used in the department where he worked. With all the evidence stacked against the suspected thief, authorities went after Hemingway in earnest.
He had to have known how and why and when he could utilize this system and wasn't thinking that a red flag would go up.
The warrant also stated that when he resigned, the ex-cop accidentally left behind a bag with lock-picking tools at the police department. And the final nail in Hemingway's coffin, a Jeep similar to his wife's, was also seen at multiple sites where the crimes took place.
That's not right.
They weren't expecting that from the guy.
Not right at all.
But I guess how good he was at it signaled exactly who he was. A former police officer was arrested after brandishing his weapon at a Pennsylvania animal shelter over the weekend. Antonio Aurelio, a 33-year-old former police officer now in Pennsylvania, arrived at the Blue Chip Farm and Animal Refuge Sunday afternoon, demanding staff release his dog, which he believed was being held at the shelter. It wasn't. In fact, he was told beforehand by shelter staff that they didn't have his pet. The dog wasn't microchipped, and after discussing what the dog looked like, the animal agency confirmed to the man that his dog was not at their shelter. Pennsylvania State Police said they requested Aurelio leave multiple times, but the man refused and began to harass employees. He told a staff member he was a police officer and then flashed a badge from the Whitehaven Police Department. And then he flashed an ID card from Wilkes University. However, he was no longer employed at either department. Oh, and he partially exposed himself as well.
What? Why would he? You mean his gear and such?
I guess.
Why would he do that?
He got that angry. The gun and the badge weren't working. He decided, well, I'll show you this. What do you think of something like this? Have you seen this before? What's poppin'? He was arrested and charged with impersonating a public servant, criminal trespass, and harassment.
That's some odd behavior.
It is, I agree.
And his dog is never even there.
No, it wasn't there. Women wearing only G-strings and pasties while bending over in front of traffic has become an increasingly common sight in National City, California.
Really?
Book your flight. As prostitution issues spiral after the implementation of a controversial new state law, National City Mayor Ron Morrison said, I don't know how else to put it, they're showing their wares.
I think that's not appropriate. I mean, we can't really do much towards them. They don't mind whoever is there. They're careless.
It shouldn't be introduced at the age of 4 years old that you're going down the street and you're seeing women dressed like this.
As long as the genitals are covered, anything else is fair game out in public, the frustrated mayor said. The new bill repealed the previous law that banned loitering with the intent to engage in prostitution, and Morrison added that another new California law legalizing jaywalking has compounded the issue, as some women just stand in the middle of traffic to attract a John. Prostitution is still illegal in California, but Morrison said the new law has effectively legalized the crime as police back off from intervening or interacting even with these women.
That's pretty interesting. So there's just prostitutes all up and down the street with this hanging out and that.
I mean, yeah, and like next to schools everywhere, hoping to maybe if dad's in the middle of the drop-off lane, picking up dad. And they said in the mornings and afternoons are when they're out the most. So, people's commute to work right in that time.
Do you ever see any in Egan when you're doing the drop-off or pickup for your son?
Never once.
No, not once.
Never once.
I'm not going to BS with you folks. That scene sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, it does.
Well, you can watch. There's plenty of videos on some of the news stories.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Videos?
Yeah. Yes. Speaking of cleaning up the streets, a Florida woman was arrested earlier this month after she was found driving a stolen street sweeper. While deputies tried to pull the truck over, the driver, a 23-year-old woman, instead sped away, prompting a chase, which lasted only about 4 minutes because she was in a street sweeper. The woman told deputies she didn't want to talk, instead asking for a lawyer, though she sporadically said, "You got me." And they did.
I bet that was one hell of a ride.
45-year-old Burns, Tennessee Mayor Landon Mathis once saved the life of his predecessor with CPR after the man suffered a near-fatal heart attack. And more recently, he saved again. This time, he saved $40 by body slamming and twisting the nose of his girlfriend's son instead of paying him for yard work.
No.
The altercation began when the victim asked Mathis to pay him after weed-eating his yard. He said Mathis agreed to pay him $40 for the work. But when the work was done and Mathis wouldn't pony up, the victim alleged Mathis lunged at him while he was talking to his mom, Mathis's girlfriend, about the ordeal. Standing in the living room, the Burns mayor stalked across to his girlfriend's son, who stood by a sofa, and allegedly grabbed him by the shirt collar. He body slammed him, got on top of him in some kind of neck hold, and began to twist and push on his nose, police said. The victim said his mom attempted to break up the fight without success. Police did not provide information on the victim's age.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to ask how old of a kid this was that was getting tuned up.
They didn't say.
By his mom's boyfriend.
Over $40.
$40.
A North Carolina family's upset after their loved one's body was mistaken for a Halloween decoration and left outside for days, even being mowed around. Robert Owen's family discovered that a lawn care worker mowed around his near-naked body, thinking it was a Halloween prop.
My grandmother's lived off of She Road for 40-plus years, and he's never been to this house. He's never known of this house, this far off the road. He's never been back here. He's never been known to come here.
A day later, someone else made the gruesome discovery. The last time the family saw Owens was Sunday, October 1st. It wasn't until a week later police found him down a long driveway outside a home the family says has been empty for quite some time. Family members admit Owens was known to do drugs, but they say that doesn't explain how he ended up where he did. Police don't suspect foul play, but said they're expecting more information once an autopsy report comes back.
Some dude just dropped dead in a yard, huh?
Sounds that way, yeah. Well, so far that's what the police believe, but they'll
This neighborhood must be kind of infamous for Halloween decorations, don't you think?
Yeah.
If that was the assumption.
Yeah.
A popular Halloween attraction in northeast Minneapolis that's been delivering frights and screams for 2 decades won't open this year. The family said that they've been running this haunted house on Lowry for many, many years, but complaints from passive-aggressive neighbors about traffic led to the decision to skip this year, and they might not be able to bring it back.
I really like how friendly the owners of the place are and just how lively it gets to be. I'm really saddened by it.
It's completely sad because I know a lot of people count on it every year. You know, that's where they bring their kids.
Many people left comments on a Facebook post from the family saying they will miss that attraction.
Well,
that's a bummer, but
That's too bad.
of course neighbors have to ruin it.
Yeah, dumb neighbors.
A Lakeland, Florida man tried to evade deputies through hilariously unconventional means when they tried to arrest him for aggravated battery. The sheriff's office said about 2:45 p.m. Saturday they went looking for 41-year-old Johnny Yates, only to be greeted by a whiteboard on the outside of the house with the message, "Johnny Yates does not live here." That seems legit, although the deputies didn't think so. The sheriff's office said deputies saw a person leaving the home who told them Johnny was inside with several other people. They used a loudspeaker to command him to leave the house, but after about an hour or so of no response, they used smoke to get the occupants to get out. After still getting no response, they used a canine to search the home. The sheriff's office said the dog sniffed out Yates, who was hiding in a drawer of a dresser.
Not the biggest guy in the world, huh?
A criminal arrest affidavit said after his arrest, he told deputies he ate some meth and blue pills. 4 other people who didn't cooperate were also arrested in that incident.
He ate some meth and also some blue pills.
I guess
Who knows what the blue pills were?
I'm very curious. I've heard about blue pills.
Yeah, I think we know what the blue pills were.
That's pretty good, though. Don't worry, guys. I got this figured out. I'll just put a sign saying I don't live here, and they'll just walk away defeated.
That's beautiful.
A canine's trusty nose helped authorities sniff out several pounds of meth at a northern Minnesota post office Monday.
Northern Minnesota?
Members of multiple law enforcement agencies were called to the Hibbing post office as part of a narcotics investigation.
Hibbing?
Very good boy, Murphy, a canine member of the Lake Superior Violent Offender Task Force, zeroed in on a suspicious package. With a search warrant in hand, law enforcement opened the package, which contained about 5 pounds of meth. 2 people arrested in connection to the discovery. In related news, the Minnesota State Patrol introduced a half-dozen new narcotic detection canines yesterday morning.
We select the dogs. They have no training. They are completely raw. We train them on the odors, what we want them to do, and as far as the tasks we want them to do. We expose them to a lot of different environments.
From the beginning of the year to the end of last month, State Patrol canines were used 118 times and assisted 49 other agencies in the seizure of over 270 pounds of marijuana, 71 pounds of meth, nearly 56 pounds of cocaine, 115 grams of crack, almost 23 grams of psilocybin, more than 45,000 fentanyl M30 pills, and over $348,000 in U.S. currency.
Damn. That's a hell of a list.
That's a party. The 6 new canines underwent several weeks of training to learn how to detect a variety of drugs in various places, but a press release said the new canines are not trained, no longer trained, in cannabis detection for obvious reasons.
So meth rocks have made it to Hibbing now.
Apparently so. Well, no, these are 2 different. Well, yeah, I guess the previous story, you're right.
You ever been up in that neighborhood, Josh? You ever hit Hibbing, Virginia, Cloquet?
Yep, absolutely.
When we were high school kids, we had to stop in Cloquet. Number 1 for porno mags, but also the chicks that worked at the Dairy Queen in Cloquet were scorching hot.
Were they really?
Oh,
I like that.
Oh, I love Gordy's Hi-Hat in Cloquet.
Sure.
Ooh, such a good burger spot.
Many, many times.
Mm-hmm. A Florida man was arrested Monday after deputies said he threatened to launch rockets at a military aircraft, and it sounded like the only thing he needed were rockets. Deputies said 39-year-old Michael Robaluk told the Monroe County Sheriff's Office the military was flying helicopters over his house. And he said if they flew below 1,000 feet, he would launch rockets at them if only he had some rockets.
If he had some.
If these a-holes keep flying over my house, they're going to get a rocket, he told deputies. He was later taken into custody and charged with threatening to discharge a destructive device. The sheriff's office said they notified the U.S. Navy about the man's comments.
That guy's funny.
Japan Airlines had to schedule an extra flight over concerns a group of sumo wrestlers exceeded the weight limit for 2 planes. The nightmare at 30,000 pounds occurred when the Titanic tusslers were slated to fly from Tokyo and Osaka to attend a special national sports festival. Like supersized swallows returning to Capistrano, a whopping 460 sumo wrestlers bought airline tickets to attend the bash.
Man, there's some big fellas.
Yeah, and a lot of them. However, after calculating, the sumo wrestlers weighed at least 100 pounds more each than a typical passenger. Travel authorities grew concerned that the 2 Boeing 737s wouldn't be able to carry the requisite amount of fuel due to the weight restrictions. In order to ensure the proper weight distribution, they decided to book an additional flight for 27 members of the sumo crew at the last minute.
I wouldn't want to be in charge of keeping those guys in the air.
That's risky.
A lot of lift. You're going to need a lot of lift. The Tim Burton 1988 classic dark comedy Beetlejuice is back in theaters just in time for Halloween. The spirits of a deceased couple are harassed by an unbearable family that has moved into their home, so they hire a malicious spirit to drive them out. Some 35 years after its original theatrical run, Dolby Cinemas will screen the original Beetlejuice tonight for one night.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either,
you
actually.
should go. Dana, you haven't?
I know, yeah.
Never saw it.
So good. Zac Efron and his six-pack. They're 36 today. All that time in the gym has paid off for the actor. He's ready to step into the wrestling ring. He stars in the upcoming sports biopic The Iron Claw, which follows Efron as a wrestler named Kevin Von Erich, a member of the famed Von Erich wrestling dynasty. It'll be released December 22nd. Then this Minnesotan won 4 World Cup overall championships with 3 consecutive titles in 2008, 2009, and 2010, plus another in 2012. Former alpine skier Lindsey Vonn, 39. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the muscles from Brussels, 63. NFL Hall of Famer Mike Ditka, 84. Shout out to Fit Librarian Cheeses from Flooded Building Jesus, coming home from Atlanta today, and that's 93X News.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
What in the actual are you guys doing?
On 93X.
Turner hits a drive, deep left center field, and the Phillies strike first again. Trey Turner. And he sends Allen to right, hit deep. Carroll turns, and it's gone. A line drive home run. Kyle Schwarber is second in as many games. Schwarber, a high drive into right center. He's watching. It's flying. Goodbye. Schwarber strikes again. Pop up. Who wants it? Uh-oh, that's going to fall. Wow. Longoria was content to let Nelson catch it. Pitchers are almost always told to evacuate the premises. And Longoria just let him ease over, and that one falls to again. And a called strike 3, and that's the ball game. And the Philadelphia Phillies dominant in this postseason. And they take a 2-0 lead in this best of 7 NLCS. And a 10-0 win in Game 2.
Absolutely fantastic. Everyone make room for our high-class friends now.
Big time.
The beautiful people, kind of like the acclaimed, have arrived. It's the Ass Man, the Lonely Boy, and the Norwegian Ox. Hello, everybody.
Who is the Norwegian Ox?
Gosh.
That's Janel.
Gosh,
okay.
what?
Wow.
Wow,
This is
Janelle.
the first time.
I wouldn't let them do that to you.
No,
She called
absolutely
herself
not.
that.
Especially face to face.
What do you got?
No, she called herself the Norwegian
Brad
Ox.
and Randy, are you guys new? Randy,
we're
you're
not
the ass
new.
man. Brad, you're the lonely boy. You've never heard Janelle referred to herself one morning as a Norwegian ox. We've been running with it for years. What the hell's going on here all of a sudden?
Huh.
Alzheimer's in the building over there?
No, but I
The
mean,
Norwegian ox.
she's far from that. Far from it.
Yes.
We only think you're on the air when we're with you.
Right.
I'm kidding.
Brad, you crazy bastard. Where have you been, Janel Klein? Randy Shaver even yesterday was worried and wondering about you.
Oh, thanks, Randy. That was really nice.
Obviously, he's very protective of you.
He is. What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy. I was in South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell's good? Was it bad stuff or was it?
No, not really. I mean, well, we've talked about it, I think, a little bit before. You guys have probably followed the Murdoch murder case. It's a big deal
Absolutely.
down in that area. So it was somewhat connected to that.
I haven't watched any coverage of it, but I think Josh told me all about a documentary you might have seen.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
NBC had one. Netflix had one.
Yep.
And the fact that this is real life is hard to believe.
Is crazy. And it's still ongoing.
Well,
so,
there you go. So you were down there covering that.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have you home safe.
Thanks. Good to be here, especially with my all-time two favorite guys, Brad and Randy.
Oh, well, good thing you quantified that, or else those other two guys there would have.
Take that, Josh and Nick.
How in the hell could those two be anybody's all-time favorite guys?
Well, and what you guys missed is she did the air quotes. Yeah.
Around which word, though? Guys or favorite?
Yeah, I think it was guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite guys. Well, it's wonderful to have everybody here, even though we started off on kind of an awkward note because Randy and Brad don't pay attention to the slang terms that we regularly use on the program. A fairly competitive ball game turned into a colon cleansing for the Arizona Diamondbacks last night.
It's probably good for them that it ended up a blowout.
And here we go again with the leaf blower.
Yeah, I warned Waffle.
Randy, sorry. Yes, I will try to forget. You go right ahead.
I was just going to say, I think for Arizona is probably the best thing that could have happened to them because a close game would have been hard to stomach. When you get blown out, you just forget about it and move on. So the next three are in Arizona. They get a chance to get themselves back into this series. But the way Philadelphia and Texas are playing right now, I just don't know how you have an opportunity to get back into those series. Those two teams are just red hot.
It just seems like they're kind of on a collision course.
They are.
Game 2 of the National League Championship Series went to the – that's so overwhelming I can't ignore it.
You can't go to another room or something?
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
I'm going to do this in like November.
What I don't understand, I'm going to go on a little mini rant here. What I don't understand is why he does this. Why they do this here on this campus every day. The leaves are still on the trees.
I love that he does.
90% of the leaves are still on the trees. I mean, are we going to do this every day until December 10th?
He's getting that paycheck, man.
Dude, if you remember, we got him. We featured him on the air a couple weeks ago. So now he wants it to continue. I get it. Now we got someone running a chainsaw.
They're busy over there.
And a log splitter.
A 19-year-old kid doesn't care if he's got to walk over a leaf now and then on his way to class.
Again,
Sorry.
Brad.
But anyway.
No. I understand. Well, what the hell? We got a single prop engine airplane taking off from.
That's a lawnmower.
Oh, that's a lawnmower.
Roseville.
I did that yesterday.
Did you ride around on the lawnmower?
No, I push.
Oh, you sorry bastard. Let's see what other yard tools we can fire up. 10-0 was the final in last night's game. Well, hang on. We're going to back some tar up and pour it onto the...
This is a Caterpillar DAT bulldozer in action.
We're seal coating Brad's driveway while we're broadcasting. How many damn dongs have the Phillies hit in the playoff? 20?
Seems like every time I look at the TV, they hit another one.
Kyle Schwarber has about 12 by himself.
Castellanos had a couple the other night, and Turner's just starting to heat up again, and Harper's been really good. I mean,
I bet they've hit 20.
Yeah, the entire Philly lineup has just been between them and Texas. I'd be curious to know how many home runs they've hit in the postseason because it's been a lot.
And their pitching's been outstanding. What is it, Wapple?
Phillies have hit 19 home runs
19
in 8 playoff games.
In 8 playoff games. Wow. And the D-backs even gong showed an infield pop-up like a damn drunken beer league softball team. It was an embarrassing final 3-4 innings for that club. That's when I turned off the television.
Is this a stampede?
Well, we got a carriage is arriving from Sleepy Eye.
You can't tell a horse race?
Sleepy eye.
There's a delivery.
It's a cab from Clara City.
No.
That's a postal carrier with a
cabbie in Clara City would go broke pretty quick. With all the tractors in town, people don't need transportation.
You didn't know we had a shipment arriving from Sleepy Eye this morning?
Yeah, Pa had to stop by the Mercantile on the way home.
Now, speaking of all the home runs that the Philadelphia Phillies are knocking around, Bryce Harper hit one in Game 1 of the NLCS, and it's a lot of fun to hear the Spanish call of Harper's home run. And keep in mind, it was also on his 31st birthday.
Compañero, hay un batazo grande de Harper. La bola se va. Se va. ¡Camponazo! Happy birthday, señor Vegas. Bryce Harper. Cumpleaños feliz. Deseamos a ti. Cumpleaños, dear Harper. Cumpleaños feliz. Happy birthday.
They even kicked the song on.
That's so awesome.
Is it me, or it sounds like they have a lot more fun doing baseball games than the normal announced team?
They definitely. It seems like any game.
I wish I knew how to do that. I wish I could do that. They have a blast in the Spanish control booth there. American League Championship Series Game 3 tonight. It's going to be buck wild in Arlington, Texas tonight, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Game
they hate
3.
each other, too, these two teams.
And they should. Cross-state rival type of a scene. Game 3 begins at 7 o'clock on FS1. 46 years ago today, Randy Shaver, Reggie Jackson earned the nickname Mr. October after hitting 3 dong skis in Game 6 of the World Series.
Yep. 3 home runs in one game.
Now, yesterday, I had a couple of people text in and say, you got to look up the Trevor May retirement video.
Oh, I heard he really bashed the Oakland A's.
Mm-hmm. So, former Twin, this past year he was pitching for the Oakland Athletics.
Speaking of songs, we had a song about Trevor May.
I don't remember that.
Trevor May, he pitches every 5 days. It was like a rock song.
That was Joe Mays.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Joe Mays, he pitches every 5 days.
I'll go back to looking for sound effects. That was, yeah.
Stay in your lane, Josh.
Yeah, no,
nice
you're right.
try, Josh.
Yeah, I misremembered that.
I remember that. It was a very catchy tune. He doesn't play for the Oakland A's or the Devil Rays.
Yep, that was all on there.
Well, now that you brought it up, you might as well play it.
Well, that's 2 computers ago, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
We lost a lot of stuff.
That one's deader than disco because someone urinated on our old computer or something like that. So Trevor May retired, and he had a nice run. I remember him pitching here.
Right.
He had a big arm and seemed like a nice enough guy. I think we had him on the air once or twice, didn't we, Cubby?
We did.
So he retires, and his last club was the Oakland Athletics, and I guess he ripped the owner of the Athletics, begging him to sell the franchise and making some smart-ass comments along the way.
I'm now 34 years old, 16 seasons, 10 major league seasons, and I am officially announcing my retirement from professional baseball. Now that it's official, to the A's organization and every single person part of it, I love all of you. Every single one of you except for one guy. And we all know who that guy is. Sell the team, dude. Let someone who actually takes pride in the things they own something. There's actually people who give a shit about the game. Let them do it. Take mommy and daddy's money somewhere else. That's one thing I really struggled with this year, was not just eviscerating that guy. Do what you're going to do, bro. You're whatever. You're a billionaire. They exist. You guys have all this power. You shouldn't have any because you haven't earned any of it. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. Reality is you got handed everything you have. And now you're too soft to take any responsibility for anything you're doing.
And by the way, I cut that way down. He had a lot more to say.
He went on and on.
He sounds a little angry.
Take mommy and daddy's money somewhere else.
I
dork,
will bet,
he says.
I will bet he is not the only person that either wants to say things like that or has said things like that.
Well, of course not.
Because the A's
whole city of the whole city of Oakland wants to say those exact things to whoever the owner is, John Fisher. This is interesting. He got money. He got rich from his parents who founded the Gap, like the clothing store.
Oh, wow.
It says they founded Gap. Maybe that's something different than the clothing store. I don't know.
That's the only Gap I know about.
And that's how this John Fisher got rich, and then he became the majority owner of the We'll go along with it. We'll say it's a clothing store. Maybe it's a different. And here's a
his dad is the co-founder of Gap Inc.
Gap the clothing.
Yeah.
People.
He must have just been tired of pitching in the grind, because I'm looking at his stats this year. He had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
He had a 3.28 ERA, 21 saves on a team like that.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Brad Ryder. I thought I read his last 9 appearances, his ERA was 0.0.
He could have found a job for a few more years.
I think so.
For sure.
And I just got a text message here that says, what are you guys, stupid or something? Reggie Jackson is Mr. October. They say Kirk Cousins is clearly Mr. October.
That is true.
The Pigs put the pump down on the Montreal Canadiens last night in Quebec. They got the win 5-2. It was a big night for our goaltender, Mark the Animal Andre Fleury.
He did amazing.
They say it was a big one for him because he was playing in what might be his last game in his native Quebec. And he got another win. You know, he's chasing Patrick Roy for second all-time wins for an NHL goaltender. The Animal made 26 saves. He was named the game's #1 star. He hit the ice and acknowledged the crowd. I didn't see any of it, but I understand it was probably a pretty special thing for the dude.
He made some big saves last night, too.
Was he flopping like a crappie?
Yeah, some of the highlights I saw. They scored 5 goals last night, and they were all special team goals. They had 2 shorthanded goals and 3 power play goals last night.
The Russian kid got his first goal of the season to go along with a couple of assists. Zuccarello had 3 assists. I didn't see the game. The teams combined for 24 penalties. What, were there a lot of fights or something? Who watched the game?
I did not.
I didn't see a fight at all.
Really?
Yeah, because you had your gig last night, right?
Yeah. It was kind of busy, but I don't remember seeing a fight at all.
But this is how it goes now in the NHL. Okay, see, that's exactly why I asked. 24 penalties and there weren't any fights?
We got text earlier from folks saying that they were pretty pissed about all the penalties last night. Nobody mentioned fights, though.
That's stupid, but that's what the NHL wants now. They want that constant power play, so the final score is 8-7. That's why it's illegal now to slash a guy's stick and it breaks, even though these composite sticks are basically bamboo rods. But they want constant special team. Okay, so now I know what happened. Next up, the boys are back at home for a game against the Los Angeles Kings tomorrow night.
I think you're kind of missing the lead story, though.
No, that's where I was going next, but go, Randy.
Wapple, did you end up getting a big crowd because of your pumping the venue yesterday?
Well, you better benefit from it.
Yeah, it was a decent crowd, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
doesn't sound like it was that
There's
much.
probably like 40 people.
It doesn't sound like it was that much.
40 people?
You don't sound very excited about it.
40 people, that's capacity.
Yeah, and I mean, we were giving things away every single 15 minutes. Sweatshirts, hats, T-shirts.
Randy, ask him if he had them.
What's that?
Ask him if he had the prize that you love the most. Third place game tickets. Did you have any third place game tickets?
No, I didn't. But I
that's why it's only 40 people. If you want to get a bigger crowd, have third place tickets.
Yeah. I did have station T-shirts that were from like 10 years ago.
No, it's always the best.
That's awesome. I love those prizes. People are like, wait, what movie is this? I'm like, oh, that was 13 years ago or so.
This is a direct-to-DVD movie from 2007.
Did Nick's son join you?
My son?
Yeah, The Rock or whatever his name is, the mascot.
Oh, David Lee Rock.
No, he wasn't there.
Jesus. I completely forgot about David Lee Rock.
Were you scared for a second? You thought you had a kid you forgot
Nick's
about?
heart skipped a beat a little bit there.
Well,
he's still a few months away from that.
All I thought was that I was missing a joke. But, I mean, figure it out, I guess. Some of you are trying to, why did he get married? Figure it out. Speaking of kids.
Aw, dude, you got to stop saying that. I'm getting questions in person. People legitimately think you have got a baby coming.
He's got bad oil. That's not going to happen. I know. I'm in the same boat.
He's got bad oil.
I'd have doctors get involved.
Janelle, I would slide a little to your right. He's got bad oil.
Perfect, because that's closer to me. You don't know how she's sitting.
That's what I thought, Cubby. But I didn't have what it takes. Last night's hockey game, Brandon Duhaime State of hockey, my ass.
Well, I thought it was DeHane, but I don't know. I haven't heard anybody pronounce it.
Connor Dewar. They scored shorthanded goals 25 seconds apart in the first period.
That's a bad night for Montreal.
So folks are texted in saying there was at least 3 fights in the third period.
Yeah, that's what they're telling me.
6 fights last night, 4 10-minute majors.
But I'll still stand by my comment that there are too many penalties in today's NHL.
I got out of there at 8, so I didn't even see the third period. So
it's okay, Wobble. For you State of Hockey trivia dorks, it's the 6th time the Pigs have scored 2 shorties in the same game. Here are the other 5. Oh, just last year, Ryan Hartman and Sam Steele scored shorthanded goals in the same game. And the only reason, this is kind of interesting, but the real reason why I wanted to bring this up is because you know how I bust a lot of balls around here about how we're supposedly the state of hockey, and then sometimes you find out that no one really knows what the hell's going on. You know the bit? This is cute. I don't know where this article came from. And further on in this list of multiple shorthanded goals in a Wild game, also last year, there were 2 shorties scored in a game by the Pigs. Frederick Gaudreau scored 2 shorthanded goals himself. It says here, last year in the Wild's victory over the Colorado Rockies.
No wonder we got shorthanded goals. Those guys can't skate.
I love that. State of hockey, my ass. It's right here. It's an article about the Wild, and they called the opposition the Colorado Rockies. That's good. Back in 2009, both Marian Gorbiak and Mikko Koivu got shorthanded goals. Back in the year 2000, their first year, Antti Laaksonen and Wes Walls scored shorties in the same game. What did I read yesterday? The spray tan man, the Pigs head coach, Dean Evison. He made a Bleacher Report list of the 8 NHL coaches and general managers who could be on the hot seat.
Boy, I don't get that impression right now.
Oh, I do. They can't get out of the first round of the playoffs. Not that I support the idea. I've never been a fire the coach guy. But you know how things work these days in pro sports, Randy Shaver. Coddle the players, blame the coach.
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't get the idea, or the sense, rather, that he's on the hot seat at this moment right now.
Well, not at this moment.
Maybe when they get to the postseason.
Yeah, that's what they mean. They're not talking like as we speak.
If they get to the postseason again and lose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, then I think he's a goner. Boys can't get past the opening round. It is what it is. They've won just 8 of 23 playoff games with Evison Evison. So that's where they're going with this.
Yep.
If he doesn't get her out the first, it says here, 1996 World Cup of Hockey champion and team general manager Bill Guerin could seek a more experienced coach with a better playoff record. Folks get pretty pissy around here because of that can't get out of the first round thing. They got pissy last year when the Stars pumped them in the first round. Not that they had any chance to beat a team that features Ryan Suter on the roster. Suter's just a better class of hockey player. Hockey fans in this town, they don't understand Suter. That's how broad and brilliant of a player. They can't even wrap their heads around Suter.
They'll figure out this ISIS.
Suter's going to figure out ISIS. Check this out. Speaking of coaches, the NHL held a meeting before the season started with every last head coach in the league had to show up. The meeting was made for a few reasons, some boring rule changes and whatnot, but one of them was to ask the coaches to stop being so mean to referees.
That's sad.
The league played a video montage to the coaches featuring clips of coaches going off on officials. F this, F-ity, F. And then the commissioner, Gary Bettman, emerged via a cloud of smoke and asked the coaches to tone things down this season.
I think every league has coaches meetings heading into the season, so maybe that's not, because I know in the NBA they do that too. But the story here is that they told them to tone it down with the referees.
It is ridiculous how it can be so different from one sport to the other. In baseball, you cannot say Jack Robinson to an umpire. But in hockey and in basketball,
you can say it.
Well, you know what I mean.
You
know, you will be instantly thrown out. In basketball and hockey and football, you can just absolutely unload on these guys and gals.
I don't know about basketball as much anymore. I think they've tried to tone down.
Well, they're trying, but is it working? They constantly have someone in their ear bitching in basketball, Randy. Nothing has changed. You can dump teas on guys, but nothing really has changed. I would not take a job as an NBA official if you paid me $30 million a year.
Oh, I think you take that.
It is absolutely relentless.
The advantage the hockey players and the football players have is that they have helmets and masks on, and you know what I mean? They can get away with saying a few more things without everybody on TV seeing what they're saying.
Right.
Basketball and baseball are different that way.
It's just funny. And it pisses me off when I'm watching baseball. It does. That you can't argue balls and strikes. You cannot say a word about that's just stupid. That's ridiculous.
You miss the days of Gardy flying out of the
Yes.
red-faced.
Loved that red face.
Oh, that was
Earl
wonderful.
Weaver's sliding the hat backwards.
I've heard kind of the unwritten rule in baseball is if you talk to the umpire but you're facing the pitcher, if that makes sense, okay? There's a call. It's called a ball or a strike. If you're facing away from him, you can pretty much say whatever you want. The minute you turn around and look at him and seemingly show him up, that's when they get a little antsy.
There is a difference there, Brad Ryder.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. I don't think you can say anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but you can get away with more if you're not locked in eye to eye with the guy. They take that as disrespectful. It's just so silly. Now, granted, there are plenty of NHL, football, and basketball coaches who take it too far. I mean, really insulting stuff. But you should be able to say something to these guys and gals who are reffing.
I think in the NBA, there's a lot of conversation all the time between players, coaches, and referees. You see, I mean, it's not always an argument. There's constant conversation about. Well, that's what I see when I watch games.
I see more just straight up bitching every
you'll
foul.
Get some of that too, but I think during the course of a game, there's a constant flow of conversation that's going on between players, coaches, and referees.
Yeah, there is. There's some of that. I would still say
it's all yelling at each other.
I would say the great majority is just whining, crying, and bitching.
Brad, what do you think?
I think it has. I think it's gotten progressively worse. I think they're trying to dole out more technicals and get it under control, but it's not really working because players get what I think 15 technicals before they're suspended for a game, and players know that and they can afford the fine. So I don't know.
NBA refs must be getting paid a decent amount of money because there's no way most of us would put up with that. It's absolutely constant.
And let's say this, they do a great job. They really do. I mean, under all of the kind of, I think they do. Under all the kind of pressure that they do, all the things that happened, and replay does help correct anything that they do. If there is a mistake or whatever, that's always there to help in that situation. But I think when you consider all the stuff they have to go through, they do a pretty good job.
I don't disagree with that. I think that they do. I do know from knowing a couple of these guys, they have long memories.
Yeah,
They remember stuff that happened the last time this team played, or the last time they had a game against this team, and they remember stuff.
Here's the deal.
Especially if it's made personal.
Yeah.
If coaches or players make it a personal thing, I can certainly understand why you would remember all that.
Here's the thing. I'll agree with I'll support the NBA officials and say they do a great job just solely based on what they put up with from the players and the coaches. Absolutely. But here's what pisses me off about NBA officiating, and there's no way you can deny this. It still depends on who you are. It effing depends, and I hate that.
I know for a fact there's one certain guy on the Timberwolves who's a very, very good player, and we talk about him a lot, that if he'd tone it down just a little bit, that he would start getting more calls.
Sure, because he just badgers them constantly.
Yes.
But here's the thing.
And the referees do not like him for that.
Ask Jim Peterson. Steph Curry goes to the lane, somebody burps, he's at the friggin' free throw line. Nas Reed can have his nipples bitten off trying to make a layup, and they swallow their friggin' whistles because he hasn't earned it yet.
I'd like to see that.
I hate that. It's the same. Oh, don't you dare act like that doesn't happen.
You had your... I don't know.
An entry-level NBA ref gets about $600 a game. That is about $250,000 a year. Seasoned ref will make around $3,500 a game.
Dang.
So that's $550,000.
I'd become a heroin addict if I was an NBA official just to put up with all that. All right, you think you like watching NFL? Who likes watching NFL ball games?
I do.
Sure.
You ain't squat. You think you like watching? Some neighbors in San Antonio, Texas, stabbed each other during the Cowboys-Chargers Monday night ball game. Now that's a level that none of us will likely know. They stabbed each other multiple times while arguing about the Chargers-Cowboys game on Monday Night Football. Both men are in their 50s. They're expected to recover. Good old-fashioned game of dagger tag. It says something that they were arguing about the noise level, but there's no further explanation in there, Josh. Do you know what the hell the...
Yeah, they didn't say specifically if it was just like television noise. I think it was just more so like a party noise because they said there were other folks there, so I'm guessing just folks were loud.
Dagger tag.
Never seen something like that. Never seen a fight or, watching a game of any sort. By that, I mean people that were watching it together.
At a house party?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Well, not during a football game, but one of my dads tried to play dagger tag with a buddy of mine years ago. Tried to fire up a game of dagger tag. We had to get in the middle of it.
College football official Jesus checked in Brad, and he said, like Brad said, we officials have a very long memory, and we talk a lot about players and coaches that are pains in the ass.
Yes. And, to my point a little bit about the NBA, I mean, the officials have friends around the league. It's not just the 2 or 3 people they work with, so they have friends around the league, and they'll text and talk to people about what so-and-so did and said, and he's absolutely right.
Man. All right, what else is going on here? I don't know. You want to get into the conspiracy theorists? Social media dorks and conspiracy theorists. That's a hilarious crowd right there.
It's kind of crazy, some of the stuff that becomes a conspiracy. Sometimes you would never expect it.
Is this a great example or
this
what?
This is a perfect example.
We were talking yesterday about this adorable lady. Back to the Monday Night Football game, right? Cowboys-Chargers, that was Monday night?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That adorable Chargers fan who I just fell smooth in love with, who was just so emotional over the game, and she was so cute. We talked about her yesterday. When the Chargers are doing well, she's just coming uncorked, and then they failed on a 3rd down, and she looks like she's just been diagnosed with something terrible. It was just so much fun to watch her. Well, the conspiracy theorists said, hey, they know the real story behind this. That's not a legit football fan. She's a paid actress. The NFL is paying her to have these wild ranges of emotion, and then the cameramen, of course, are paid to put her on television, so we suckers, we sheeple at home, will go, wow, football looks like fun, I gotta buy a ticket to that. This actually became a thing on the internet. But no. Again, as badly as some people want to believe that everything is fake, they were wrong again. She's a real person acting naturally. An NFL reporter by the name of Tom Pelissero. We can't trust him. He's a member of the media. So as you know, he says what he's told so he can get the money. But anyway, Tom Pellicero talked to the lady, and she said, no, I'm not a friggin' actor, and neither is my husband. We're season ticket holders, for Christ's sake.
Well, the Chargers said she's a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
Well, apparently she's a Vikings fan, too.
She grew up here.
We go to a ton of games. They always get me on the Jumbotron because I am freaking nuts. Whether I'm in my seat or in the cabana, they get me on the Jumbo, but I've never been on TV. I never expect to be on TV. So I get home, my kids are like, Mommy, you were on TV. And I'm like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah, your mom's famous. Okay, go to bed.
Who was that?
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee?
She was on that show yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, someone, they tweeted about it. Pat, I can't say his last name. He tweeted about her being on, and somebody reposted it and said, wow, what a well-spoken, well-prepared regular fan with a high-quality webcam that has nothing going on in the middle, in the middle of a Tuesday. So, yeah, I guess people do think it's a conspiracy theory. I don't get it.
So even that nobody believed?
Yeah.
Man.
I just don't care.
She was so cute.
She's got a good webcam camera. Maybe she works from home. What?
People are so weird.
We were just talking about former NFL ball player Shannon Sharpe yesterday. We were talking about that fart argument that he got into with Chad Ochocinco. You missed that, Janelle.
Oh, my God. Don't start that up.
They had a fart-gument.
Oh, my God.
I haven't heard.
We won't get into it.
Big talkers when you're not here, Janelle.
Yeah, Janelle.
We save all the good stuff.
They had a fart argument. You weren't here.
Would you like to hear the clip?
Of course I would.
Randy doesn't want to hear the clip? Well, Janelle, I mean, her vote trumps Randy's vote, does it not?
Definitely.
Going to the bathroom in front of a woman, I don't do that. I don't pass gas. No, hell no.
No, listen, let me tell you what my grandma told me now. Baby, the minute she can use the bathroom and leave the door open, that's the one.
She can't do that.
Yeah,
that ain't
that's
gonna work
the one.
for me. No, that ain't the one. That ain't the one.
Right here, I knew she was the one. When she fought in front of me,
no.
Yeah, that's how, oh, yeah.
Joe,
Yeah,
I broke up with a girl for doing that.
Man, stop playing. You left a girl for that? Oh, boy, you a tough crowd, boy.
No.
You a tough crowd, boy.
Joe,
you're a tough
we're
crowd.
in the
Come on,
bedroom.
man.
The bathroom right there. 5 steps. No, I don't do that, Ocho.
See what you missed, Janelle?
I mean, wow.
There's more
Back
if you
to
want
South Carolina you go.
Yeah, right.
So now everybody's making fun of Shannon Sharpe for how much damn makeup he was wearing on television a day or two ago. On a show called First Take, I think it's called.
Yeah, he did look silly.
The photos are ridiculous.
She looks so dolled up.
Did you see those, Randy? You wear makeup on television.
I have not. I do.
You got to see the level of makeup
I have not seen it.
that was on Shannon Sharpe's face. You got it. Is that on our website? Did someone say
Yes.
that? Thank you.
I'll go there.
At first I thought, oh, people are kidding. This is Photoshopped. But he addressed it, so I guess not.
It's something to see. The makeup giver on that show went mental on him. And people made all kinds of jokes. They said he looked like, I don't know some of these references. They said he looked like Mean Lunch Lady. They said he looks like Randy Jackson, Orlando Jones, Little Richard.
Randy Jackson is who I thought he looked like.
Medea, Steve Urkel, Grace Jones were some of the comparisons they were making to.
It's a little too much, but.
A little too much what? Makeup?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much makeup. But he said, the gal was new.
It's what happens when you're an older guy, though. You need a little bit more. You need a little bit more TLC.
It looks like lipstick, though.
I mean, yeah, it's something.
Lip liner, at least.
Almost orange.
Yeah.
Well,
This was
eyeliner too.
Yeah, that too.
Of course, speaking of social media dorks, a bunch of them tweeted about how this woman should be fired.
Who cares?
He said, take it easy. It was her first time. She went a little buck wild. I like the way he closes out his tweet. What did he say here? There's no reason for this lady to be fired. Oh, here it is. She'll get better. It isn't the end of the world. I'll live, and I'm still extremely blessed. Okay, we're talking about your television makeup here, dude. I don't think there's any need for you to mention how blessed you are. How odd is that?
That is odd.
I'm still blessed, everybody.
Good for you.
I don't get people. NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Owens got hit by a car.
Sure did.
Sounds like some garbage human being tried to hit Owens with a car after some kind of argument.
This is up on 93x.com.
What's up on 93x.com?
This story.
Video.
There's video of him getting hit by...
No, that's a different video on there. Actually.
Oh, okay.
That's a previous
then it's just the story.
Yeah.
Says here some guy drove his car into Terrell Owens after they got into an argument during a pickup basketball game. But Terrell Owens is going to be fine. Nobody's been arrested, but there was mention in the story about assault with a deadly weapon. That kind of charge may be coming down the pipe. So look out for that. Ah, wow. It's only the preseason, and Patrick Beverly is already hilarious.
I love that guy.
God, dang, he's the coolest effing guy. He already got ejected from a preseason game for running his yap and just being Philadelphia.
Okay.
He's running his yap and just being a dick in general.
They already love him there.
Oh, yeah. You know, one of these deals where, there's a foul, whistle blows, everybody stops playing. There's a member of the opposite team got the basketball in his hands, and just for no reason, just because Patrick Beverly is hilarious and like the perfect dickhead, Pat walks up and tries to slap the ball out of his hands. And then they all come together and kind of chest bump. What a shame he doesn't play here in town. He's just so cool.
That video's on 93x.com.
Oh, I said something about Naz Reid and his nipples earlier. My favorite player on the Wolves, Naz Reid, and one of the coolest effing guys in town. He says he's grown 2 inches in the offseason.
Wow.
I think, what's his nuts said that too. I thought a few weeks ago.
We just talked about something similar.
Mick, he looks like my buddy Goldie. He broke his arm in the late part of the season being an idiot. McDaniels.
Oh, Jaden?
Jaden, I thought he said he grew an inch and a half or 2 inches during the offseason. Maybe that was last season. But these guys are still so young, they have those...
Maybe they're going through puberty. Maybe this is a good thing.
Yeah. And next time you see my buddy Goldie, I was just talking about him recently. What was I talking about? We're going to be at the Little River Band. Oh, ask Goldie about how he puked all over the city of Chicago. Remember I was telling you that story?
Oh, I thought that was a different guy you were talking about.
No, that's Wang. He's got 2 separate nicknames. Goldie, Wang, same thing.
I didn't know it was the same guy.
Ask him about puking all over Chicago, and then ask him about how he looks exactly like Jaden McDaniels. He gets a kick out of that. Zach Reed, that's not the name. Naz Reid says he's gone from 6'8" to 6'10".
Wow.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be kind of a... What if I did that before summer at 52 years old? Just suddenly...
That'd be confusing, but I'd assume he had some sort of procedure.
Yeah, send me to the emergency.
5'6" instead of 5'4"?
Instead of 5'4".
What is it? I don't get this text from retired Air Force Jesus. It's funny. Every time Randy speaks, I grow 2 inches. What does that mean?
What the hell? That's just
God. Throw up in my mouth.
Unnecessary gross stuff. All right, we got to get out of here shortly. We have jaw-jacked a little bit on this over the past few weeks, and now we know.
What you missed, Janelle?
I mean,
Jesus.
never a dull moment.
Never changes, does it? Never changes.
And you drive yourself in. No one drives you or forces you to be here.
You do this of your own free will. What?
We jaw-jacked a little bit about this over the past few weeks, and now we know 6 new sports have been added to the Olympics for the year 20 plus 28, which will be taking place in godforsaken Los Angeles, California, USA. A total of 6 new sports are being added. And again, remember, this doesn't mean they've never been in the Olympics before. Maybe some of them have been, and then they went away, and then they get voted back in. Every time they have one of these stupid Olympics, they have to vote some. So here's what's going to be there. Baseball. Baseball. Give me the ball because I'm going to dunk it.
That's good.
Softball.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
The one we've been talking about most is flag football, and it's going to be there.
Interesting.
And, and the NFL says they're going to be cool letting players go over there and get injured. Lacrosse.
I think that's great.
Oh, gosh.
What's the problem, Smash?
Lacrosse is a fast-growing sport.
It really is. My boyfriend loves lacrosse. He grew up playing it, so I'm not going to hear the end of this.
I think it's a fantastic ad.
It really is. I went and watched a Premier League game that they had here, it was really fun to watch.
If you're going to play field hockey or what is I'm missing the term. There's a number of different variations of that game.
Well, there's tonsil hockey.
No.
Pocket pool.
There's sweater meat.
You know what? I have a long memory, too.
Crotch crickets.
Oh, my God.
Bikini
I don't want to
spiders.
hear about your ailments.
There's bikinis. You ever heard of bikini spiders? You know what else they're going to play at the Olympics in 20 plus 28? Squash.
Okay.
I can't even remember what that is.
I don't know what that is. And cricket. They're going to play cricket.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge around the world, isn't it? Cricket?
Yeah.
Very big.
Here's where I'm pissed. Karate, which was introduced in 20 plus 20, is being left out again, and it's probably all because that dude kicked the other guy's head right off his shoulders. Oh, my word. Into the third row in front of his kids. He killed the guy. I effing love that so much, but you knew that already. Randy, you'll be pumped to know that they're not bringing back breakdancing.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. I know Janelle's disappointed, but I'm not.
That's being dropped after they popped and locked their asses off at the 2024 Olympic Games.
Janelle's disappointed. You can stop your training now.
Yeah,
Yes, Janelle.
right.
They didn't they, Josh? They did
The
everything
Olympic
they
dream
could.
is over, Janelle.
Your boombox can go back on the shelf.
They did everything they could to have it brought back. They were back spinning and doing the worm, all that, but they didn't bring it back. Stupid. I love that breakdancing.
Yeah, I did too. I thought that was great. And now you just recycle cardboard. You're not doing any dance moves on it.
We don't have to tear any more boxes.
So what were you thinking of again, Randy? Was it trouser snakes? Was that what you were trying to come up with?
Stop.
Do you guys remember when Justin Timberlake cheated on Britney Spears and the tabloids called him Justin Trouser Snake?
That just came up in the news again.
Yeah.
She had her new book. She's talking about.
We didn't know it at the time, but that turned out to be a good move for him.
It did, Brad. It did.
Oh, no, it was not a good move. She is incredible in every way.
Who's he married to again, or dating?
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel. They've been married for a while. Yeah.
Boy, Dana was out of the gun right there.
Growing up, Josh, all right? I know my Jessica Biel.
Janelle, you would have been proud of me Friday. I was on top of the entertainment category last Friday.
What
in
happened?
Dad fights.
Yeah, you did very well.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
a dad fights category.
Yeah.
Almost kind of concerningly well.
Did you win, Brad?
It was, what was it? It was spouses of...
Scorching hot women.
Well,
it was
professional athletes.
who have dated or been married to scorching hot female humans.
Yeah.
And Brad was with the...
he would have given you a run for the money.
I might have, yeah.
He was Alex Rodriguez, and who's the guy with the money shot again? He just got done... Justin Verlander, and he was all over it.
Yeah.
Way to go, Brad.
Yeah, you'd have been proud of me.
There you go. All right, you guys. There you go. Tomorrow will be Thursday. Randy will join us. Brad, we probably won't talk on Friday because we're going to be doing a completely oblivious and meaningless broadcast from a casino on Friday. So
okay,
you can do some yard work.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
You do know a guy.
I know a guy.
You know, and in a way, I kind of feel like we know a guy.
That's perfect. I know a guy, he says. God help us all. We'll see you later.
All right.
See ya.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Every Monday, Rich Eisen and Chris Brockman react to what's happening in the world of football on Overreaction Monday.
The AFC North. Not all 4 teams going to make the playoffs.
More likely than not.
More likely than not, right?
Okay.
And I know they've been the king of this jungle for the last few seasons. The Cincinnati Bengals, Rich, are going to miss the playoffs this year.
This is an overreaction. Bengals are not only making the playoffs, they're winning this division. Oh, again, for a third straight year.
Overreaction Monday, the podcast, wherever you listen.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Let me tell you something. Here we are. Welcome back to the radio show. It's 8:35. 8:35 already. Janel Klein is here. She is, by God. It's Halloween season, Janelle.
I know.
You get into it at all?
I do love Halloween.
Me
Yeah.
too. What, are you going to any parties, hosting any parties?
I got an invite a week or so ago, and I really want to do it. I have not yet come up with a costume, though.
So it's a required to wear a costume.
Yes. You guys got any good ideas?
Barbie.
Well,
let's go with Barbie.
God.
I like the ideas where you won't see one other Barbie there.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Let's go with Barbie or Taylor Swift and Josh can be Travis Kelce. And everyone will they'll think it's so clever.
Or we do the opposite. You know, like, hey, these guys are wacky.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. I could pull off a Taylor Swift.
It wasn't too long ago.
Although she's about 7 inches taller than I am.
Yeah, that's a good point. Wasn't too long ago we discussed some scary urban legends from around America. You know, like, for example, and I'm making this up, if you go to the Slippery Rock Bridge in Virginia, the ghost of a kid who was castrated and strangled to death in 1826 will return from the dead and steal your girlfriend's undies and then kill you dead. That kind of stuff. Those kinds of things. On a less frightening note, I mean, not that any of those urban legends we discussed a few days ago, 2 weeks ago, not that any of it is terribly scary, but on a less serious, less frightening side of things, but still kind of creepy, there are plenty of urban legends involving movies and television programs. Did you know this, Janel Klein? You're in the business of television.
I did not know that.
Did you know that? You knew that part, right?
Right, of course.
Spooky television and movie urban legends like Barney the dinosaur was a drug addict.
Barney's sketchy.
Barney the dinosaur. Now, it's beyond the days when I would watch children's programming, and I grew up with Tom and Jerry and Scooby-Doo and Bugs Bunny. When did Barney hit the scene and become every child's favorite character?
Mid-90s.
Oh, yeah, because he was big when I was a kid.
Mid-90s.
Yeah.
So the...
Let's tie Barney to a tree.
He sounds drunk.
He does sound a little drugged up there.
I like the dark ones better.
The dark what?
Dark Barney songs. Those are good.
I don't know those.
People remix them, so like, I love you, you love me, let's tie Barney to a tree and shoot him with an M16. Now there's no more Barney.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, you knew that off the top of your head.
Yeah, it's one of those songs that is like always in my head.
It's terrible. It's terrible what you just said. But the controversy around Barney the dinosaur was that the actor, see, I forget this. He was like a mascot.
Yeah.
Okay, I was picturing him as a cartoon. I like I said, I never was too dialed into Barney. He was a mascot. The rumor was, the conspiracy, the theory, whatever you want to call it, the urban legend was that the dude who played Barney was hooked on heroin.
I watched a documentary about Barney and like the backlash. It was kind of one of the first things that the internet just decided they all hated and wanted to die. And the guy who did the voice for Barney and was in the costume, he had to routinely tell his family and friends that, no, I'm not on heroin. Yes, I'm okay. No, I didn't commit suicide. He had to routinely tell people that.
Because all those different rumors.
All the different rumors on the internet and everything like that, yeah. So he had to tell people, inform his family and friends constantly that no, he was not dead or on heroin.
That's sad.
I mean, I guess I'd be cool if the dude was on heroin while playing a giant purple dinosaur as an adult. I mean, as long as he wasn't hurting anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, our favorite actors and musicians are some of them are all banged up on drugs. So what's the damn difference?
Shoot, Tommy Lee just said the other day he drank 2 gallons of vodka a day.
Oh.
That's a lot of vodka.
That is a lot of vodka.
Oh my gosh.
There's a terrifying missing episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, according to this urban legend, where the episode is called Squidward's Suicide. Suicide is what I tried to push out of my mouth there. Squidward Suicide. The urban legend is that this episode is out there. It's finished, but it's never aired.
I can see why.
I'm surprised they made that episode.
Well,
assuming it's true.
Yeah, assuming that it
He was always going through some stuff.
Squidward? Well,
Yeah.
he was cranky a lot.
Yeah.
A Nickelodeon intern said that he watched an episode called Squidward's Suicide. He said the episode was deeply disturbing, and it included Squidward being bullied into despair and killing himself by clawing at his own face.
Oh, Jesus.
And, again, according to the urban legend, the episode included intercut images of actual dead children.
What?
But, according to what I'm reading here, this never happened. No one involved in the SpongeBob. How do you say his name?
SpongeBabe.
No one involved in the SpongeBob program ever made that episode. It's not for you. It's all BS.
Sound like intern just telling tall tales.
Who saw Babe the Pig?
I did. That was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Never saw it. Janelle, Babe, the adorable pig who ran through town solving crimes or something?
Never saw it.
Pardon me?
Never saw it.
Never saw it.
No.
The rumor, I keep saying rumor, but we're talking here urban legends. The urban legend was that Babe the pig that you saw wandering around in the movie was sent to the slaughterhouse and turned into a pork chop.
No, not Babe.
And this upset Babe fans to think that they used this poor critter to be adorable, and then in the end they just shipped him off and had him turn into a bacon nader. What folks say here is none of that. This is also just like the SpongeBob suicide episode. This is not true. No one ate Babe, just in case you're a Babe fan and you've always been saddened by this. According to what we're reading here, no one killed and ate Babe. In fact, none of the pigs who were used in the movie to portray Babe, it wasn't just one pig, they used multiple, 48 of them. None of them. Yeah, I guess 48. None of them ended up being taken to slaughter. It was in the contract. It was a condition of the contract signed by the filmmakers and animal training company that was involved. Do you see what I'm saying to you?
I wonder, if even catering on a film like that, if they don't have pulled pork or something. Yeah, I mean, do they? Because if I was a caterer, I wouldn't consider that until somebody pointed it out, and then I'd feel really stupid that I did something like that.
Oh, man.
You imagine? Pork chops today. Awesome. Not even thinking about it.
Bacon.
The Wizard of Oz. Janelle, was your family like mine where the Wizard of Oz was played and watched and enjoyed and worshipped?
No.
Oh, my mother and my sister just loved to watch The Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland and this and that. They loved it.
Isn't Judy Garland from Minnesota?
I believe so, but I can't be sure.
That's correct.
Is it?
Now, I remember this one. The Wizard of Oz, if you watch it, The Wizard of Oz captures a suicide on film. Does everyone remember this one?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They say 45 minutes into the movie, what appears to be a floating shadow can be seen among the trees in the distance as Dorothy's making her way down the yellow, brick road. And urban legend enthusiast claims this is the hanged body of an actor portraying a munchkin who committed suicide after having problems with his girlfriend.
It looks like I'm watching a little clip of it. It looks like a hanging body.
It does look hanging, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's all BS.
What is it then?
It's been disproven.
It's the shadow cast by a large bird. They had many large cranes in the studio to make a creepy atmosphere. It's just the shadow of an effing bird. But I remember people running with that one for quite a stretch of time, that it was a hanging human being. Now, I'm really lost with this one because I don't have any idea what it means to be Carmen Sandiego.
Where in the world's Carmen Sandiego?
That was a fun show.
Yep.
Never saw it. Is this a cartoon?
It was like an educational game show on PBS when I was a kid.
Janelle, Carmen Sandiego?
I do know Carmen Sandiego.
Okay.
There is a cartoon, though. Netflix had a show not too long ago, and
some fans of the program, I might really F you up here because I don't know what I'm saying. Some fans believe there was a lost episode of the show out there called Old Lang Gone, in which several accidents occurred, culminating in the winning contestant, I have no idea what I'm saying, breaking her arm in a bonus round.
Yeah, there was a lot of running around and placing things on a giant map in the bonus round, so I could see how a kid could snap an arm doing that.
Well, so that's it. The urban legend was that a kid broke his arm?
I guess.
Kind of lame.
It's not as dark as some of these others, but some kind of game show historian looked into it and concluded that the episode never existed. Well, thank God no kid broke their arm. Here we are talking about suicides and little adorable pigs going to the slaughterhouse and heroin addiction. I don't know if this one belongs, but thankfully no kid broke their arm making Carmen Sandiego shows. All right, one more before we take a break. You can see the ghost of a dead boy in the movie 3 Men Plus a Baby.
I like that movie.
That was fun.
Ted Danson.
Yep.
Don't tell me. Steve Guttenberg.
Yep.
And Chevy Chase.
No, mustache.
Tom Selleck.
Yep.
There it is.
3 Men Plus a Baby. This was a massive movie in the late 80s, and I never bothered with it when it was hot, and then I watched it a few years down the road, and I thought it was a heaping pile of feces.
Well,
But
I
anyway,
sure liked it. I mean, I was in 6th or 7th grade, but I liked it.
I do remember this urban legend. If you watch 3 Men Plus a Baby, in the background of a particular scene near a window, you can see what appears to be a rifle standing upright, and then you see him. I guess I shouldn't have said, did I say baby? You see what appears to be a mysterious boy next to the rifle. This led to a urban legend that it was a ghost boy that haunted the set, along with the gun that he used to commit suicide. Very dark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I have nothing here in front of me that disproves this story. But it's got to be nonsense.
I would think so.
3 Men Plus a Baby.
Back to Carmen Sandiego.
Yes.
You guys are maybe too young, but there was a video game we played in school, Where in the World's Carmen Sandiego. PC game that was a lot of fun. Carmen from Woodbury said that they were named after Carmen Sandiego.
Oh,
Jesus.
cool. That's a cute name.
That is cool.
Must have been a hell of a popular program. We've been discussing spooky television and movie urban legends, and she is terrified.
You were freaking out during the commercial break.
Yes, I was.
Crying and trembling, discussing the scary TV and movie urban legends like Barney the Dinosaur was an unhinged drug addict. Oh, there's an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants where Squidward kills himself. Babe, the little cute pig, was sent to the slaughterhouse. The Wizard of Oz had a suicide on film. Carmen Sandiego was breaking kids' arms in half. There's a dead kid in 3 Men and a Baby. It's all nonsense. But folks like to play these games and trade these stories back and forth. I got a couple more here for you. What do you think of the movie Fargo, Janelle?
Never saw it.
Yeah, you know, Janelle, I'm glad you led the charge on that because I get a lot of crap. I'd never seen it either.
Really? Oh, good. I'm not the only one.
It's
No.
really good.
Love that movie.
Really?
I'd forgotten that you don't see a lot of motion pictures. Fargo's a lot of fun.
Do you guys ever go places and people ask? I get this question once in a while. Like they'll hear I'm from Minneapolis and they'll go, is Fargo really like that? Is that what it's like there?
And
Do
they
people
assume it's
talk
from
like that?
Yep.
They think
Absolutely.
Fargo is Minnesota.
Right.
Is in Minnesota.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I've gotten before, Janelle, is, I mean, once I was in Maui many years ago. God help us, what the people in Maui. This is many years ago. I was in Maui, and of course, you run into people from all over the place. And they found out I was from Minnesota, and so they started teasing me about the accent. Oh, Minnesota, I saw Fargo. I did, don't you know? You know, that whole bit.
Yeah.
They were teasing me, and that was fine. I know some people who get really pissy about that around here.
Yeah.
I think it's cute that we have our own little thing.
What really kind of interests me is the denial of Minnesotans who say we don't talk like that. Yes, we do.
100%.
Yeah. What are you afraid
Dragging
of?
out the O's.
Every region has their accent. We that is how we talk. I don't know why people want to deny that. It's odd. And it's a little weird too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I catch myself.
Oh,
every
yeah.
once in a while throwing that out there.
Oh, now.
You can hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Can you? Yeah, I every once in a while I get that.
Here's a couple more.
Waffle, you for sure.
Yeah, you're notorious for that.
What you guys are talking about.
And you and Ashley even create accents that aren't aligned with your region. Ashley morphs into a Canadian now and again and talks about how she's oblivious to things. and she has a certain opinion on things.
I'm always talking about whole homes.
Yeah, whole homes. You like bold. You really get it. Sometimes, like I said, I catch myself, but you quite often. Dana likes to take a sentence and combine it into 1.5 words.
Yes, he does.
I like my briefs.
It's just a buzzing sound, and you realize he has uttered an entire sentence. I remember this one time Dana will say, and we say, okay, we got to start that over again.
He'd be great in an emergency. He can communicate all this information.
But it's not good for a radio show in which people need to understand what I'm saying.
At times it can be a burden.
Oh, you know what else you'd be good at?
Oh.
Hey, remember back in the day when you wanted to communicate with a friend and you made a collect call from a payphone and you would just throw in as fast as you can the message before you had to pay? Maybe you got your training doing that.
Soccer's over. Come pick me up now.
Stop at the store, get me a new headband.
Can we stop at Blockbuster on the way home?
Mom, I threw up from drinking too much chocolate milk again.
That actually did happen.
All right, back to the movie Fargo. I believe from 1996 AD, if I'm remembering correctly. Fun movie. This was the urban legend connected to the movie Fargo, that a Japanese woman flew from Tokyo to Minneapolis, but froze to death near Fargo, North Dakota. The urban legend said I guess she believed the movie was real somehow. It's just an urban legend, who cares? But she was looking for the briefcase that Steve Buscemi's character threw into the snow in the one scene in Fargo after they killed it. Folks who have seen the movie know what I'm talking about. That was the urban legend that this woman came all the way to Minnesota and froze to death.
Was it filmed here or was it filmed in Fargo?
A little of both.
Yeah.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. They went back and forth.
And then I'm a big fan of The Shining. I love The Shining. I was just saying a couple days ago that, now the Halloween movies are rolling on television, and I saw a little bit of The Exorcist, which I also love. I think my two favorite horror movies are probably The Shining and The Exorcist.
Did you see... sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I love those movies. Yes.
Did you see Dr. Sleep, the follow-up to The Shining?
Yes, it was horrible.
Oh, was it bad?
It was stupid.
Wait a minute.
Years ago?
What about that movie that you told me to watch that I made like 5 minutes into before I had to turn it off?
That's called Funny Things.
Oh my God.
That's a wickedly dark and horrible movie.
Oh, is that a bad deal?
And I love it. I love it for that reason, but it is very, very tough for some people. You couldn't make it.
What's it called again? Funny?
I think it was called Funny Things. I think I'm on the right path there. Funny Games.
Funny Games.
Thank you, Waffle. I got that mixed up with...
Stranger Things.
No. But I got it mixed up with something. The Shining. It says here, as far as urban legends go, there's many urban legends about the movie The Shining. Where I was going with all this is I'm such a big fan, I've never heard, or I don't remember all of the urban legends connected to The Shining, but apparently there are so many, they didn't even bother listing them here. They just say, they kind of make an assumption that everybody knows them. I don't remember them, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, those horror movies get a bunch of them.
Do you remember any urban legends about The Shining?
Well, just that the Stanley Hotel is actually haunted in real life.
Where they filmed it?
Where they filmed it,
Okay,
yes,
maybe
the hotel.
Wendy, let me explain something to you. Whenever you come in here and interrupt me, you're breaking my concentration. You're distracting me, and it'll take me time to get back to where I was. Understand? I also love the scene where he's talking to that scary guy, and the scary guy says, "My girls didn't care for the Overlook at first either. One of them actually stole a pack of matches and tried to burn it down, but I corrected her. And then my wife tried to prevent me from doing my duty, and I corrected her." You're welcome.
Well, I don't need to watch the movie now. I just got a little sneak preview there.
Dad? Yes? Do you like this hotel? Yes, I do. I love it. Don't you? I guess so. Good. I want you to like it here. I wish we could stay here forever and ever and ever. All right, we got to go, Janelle. Take care of yourself, will you?
Thanks, you guys.
We worry about you.
We do.
Have the best time in Wisconsin, and in particular at the hot tub party.
Yeah, the potluck hot tub party Nick and I are having.
The Nick and Josh meet and greet potluck hot tub party.
It's sold out quick, and we're so thankful for that.
With special guest Janel Klein.
We could use a towel gal with a towel.
I was kind of hoping you'd do a musical number, maybe.
What are the odds we could ever get Janelle to come to one of these
I
things?
mean, maybe someday.
Someday?
Not today, but maybe someday.
And now, we just like the old hee-haw show. And now, Janel Klein. And you'd come in, Sarah.
You just did the thing my parents would always do when they wanted to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, gosh, I hated that.
Eventually, the older you got, you knew what that really meant.
Right, exactly.
So we'll never see you there.
But I can't wait to hear all about it next week.
We'll probably have a story or two.
I bet you
I
will.
sure hope so.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.